Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners get the big win in Game 1 of their series with the Reds last night. They look to win the series today when they send Luis Castillo to the hill. He goes up against a tough one. Chase Burns going for the Reds. He's got an 11-1 record and a 2.54 ERA. So see how the offense fares tonight. You can catch it all starting at 5:30 with the pregame show. 6:40 first pitch right here, Seattle Sports on 710. And by the way, in case you weren't aware, with the win last night and the Rangers loss, your Seattle Mariners are now officially back in first place in the AL West. Meanwhile, in the world of the NFL, the Miami Dolphins and linebacker, former Seahawk Jordan Brooks, have agreed to a 3-year, $51.3 million extension with $35 million guaranteed, according to Adam Schefter.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Happy Tuesday to everybody out there. A beautiful day outside. It's very warm. Very warm. Stay hydrated, Dave. You don't want to cramp up. It's very warm outside.
No, I know that. I woke up with cramps this morning.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. You know those calf ones that old men get.
Yeah. I'd rather that than the inside of the thigh cramp, which is excruciating and incredibly hard to stretch out, as we've both learned.
People talk about how Bump and Stacy end their show. How about how we start our shows?
Yeah, we talk about cramping and sometimes gardening. So, it's all good. Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. Coming up on the show, Jim Bowden from The Athletic and MLB Network Radio will join us at 2:30. Remember, he's the one that proposed a potential trade in his mind. Mariners shipping off George Kirby. And then that's where we kind of eyes rolled back in our heads and said, no, you can't get rid of Kirby, who just went out there and just threw his sixth consecutive quality start. 6 in a row for Kirby. It was a big night. It was a big night for a lot of reasons, but we'll talk about that. But man, I know there was a lot of celebration in the Wyman household when this happened.
Here's the pitch. Swung on and destroyed. It's on its way. Upper deck just short. Going sail away. Grand slam. Cal Raleigh. He crushes it into space. A big blast for Cal. It is 7-0 Mariners. This place is unglued. It's a frenzy now, thanks to Cal Raleigh.
Oh, did he need that? Oh, my goodness, did he need that?
So second and third, and Canzone's up. They put him on.
To get to Cal.
Yeah. The ultimate disrespect. Yep. I loved what we saw from Castillo, where I don't know who he was talking to, but he pointed to his head and then shook his finger no, you think too much.
Well,
so, look, I get it, but still, that was just, I think everybody went nuts. And I have to say that I am watching a traumatized cat, and it was under the bed, and so, and I had the door closed so he can't get out. And when that happened, I just started pounding my feet and screaming and yelling. And Shannon comes running in there like, "What are you doing? We got a traumatized cat in here, and you're up here screaming and kicking the floor." But
he's suffering more trauma now, thanks to you.
So that didn't help. But I didn't even think about it because I was just so concentrated on Cal, and he just that swing made it look so easy.
Well, first pitch, he's sitting off speed and just crushes it on the very first pitch, and talked about how he felt at the plate there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, build off of good swings and good contact. And, thought I had a couple good ones yesterday. And, trying to build off of that and, trying to get it rolling.
So, as you could tell, really excited about the whole thing. No, that's just...
Hey, he's back to being Cal, man.
That's classic Cal right there. Just understated. Yeah. Just, I know Ryan Rowland-Smith did the on-field interview with him after the game, and Cal was kind of the same way. Just, just looking for a pitch I can put a good swing on, and worked out. And,
he's probably, that's the right attitude to have. You don't want to be jumping around and screaming and yelling. He's had a rough year.
Yeah.
And that's one pitch. But, yeah, I think everybody sort of breathed a sigh of relief. And I walked out to get the mail, and my neighbors walked by. I go, "Did you guys just see what happened? Did you?" And they're like, "No." And I explained the whole thing to them.
Did you guys hear the good news? And they thought you were going to give them a religious pamphlet. And you went, no. It's about Cal Raleigh.
It was just one of those moments that you'll remember, especially, if you're looking back at this season and, Cal at one point going, 0 for 38 and, just struggling.
He was in an 0 for, what was he, 0 for 2 or 3 going into that at-bat. So technically he was in an 0 for 14, 15 slump if you're dating back to his previous hit before that. So, he was scuffling big time. And obviously everybody took note of, wow, you put Canzone on to get to Cal, who's a switch hitter. It's not like, hey, we're playing matchups here, lefty-righty. He's a switch hitter. Terry Francona, after the game, explained his decision to load the bases for Cal.
It's not a comfortable situation either way. Saying that, I do that every time. We have to try to keep them from scoring more. Second and third, a guy with a 990 OPS against lefties, we're going to have to play the infield in. I know what Raleigh's hitting, and I'm not, he still worries me. But I thought it was our best chance to have them not score. We could play the infield at double play depth, and the worst possible outcome happened.
Yeah, and at the time, I kind of got it. It was surprising. I'm like, whoa. And I was like, well, I kind of get it based on who Cal is right now. And then our guy Luke Arkins tweeted out something that sort of supported the decision, saying Cal had a 131 average, a 181 slug, and a 34.6% strikeout against left-handed pitching entering the game. So if you're playing the odds and saying this is who the guy's been this year, this is what he's done against lefties, and you see that he's 0 for his last 14, 15, whatever it was, stepping up there, and you saw him in his first couple of ABs, and I think he'd struck out. I get the decision. Didn't work out. Guy left it, kind of hung that one right over the middle of the plate, and he obviously launched it. But I get where fans of the Reds would be ticked. Like, what are you doing? This guy hit 60 bombs last year. Well, when you look deeper at the numbers and who Cal has been this year, it was the right call. Just the pitch was he didn't execute the pitch.
Yeah. Well, I just think it made it even sweeter for Cal. Just the, now you're to the point, and if you're a Mariner fan, you're to the point of just ultimate disrespect, that, and, like he said, I didn't know Canzone, was that for the entire season or was it the last 15 games, the OPS against lefties number that he threw out there? Might have been over the last 10 games or something. But still, you totally see why he would do it, and he'd do the same thing again. But, it just made it, when listening to him, it's not like he's some kind of villain or anything. Francona, making the best decision at the time. So, but it just made it a little bit sweeter for Cal, I think.
He's got a 910 OPS versus lefties.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Talking about Canzone. So,
well, and I don't know what Cal's OPS is, this year, but I'm imagining it's not.
Well, I just gave it to Luke tweeted that out. His
oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the slug is the thing that has just been
his average. The slug is horrible. Yeah, and he's striking out almost 35% of the time against lefties this year. So, not to come on here and make it about the Reds and Francona, and he did the right thing. If you're just going to base it on who the
time
guy,
at that time,
like at this moment, who's the bigger danger? It's Canzone, but Cal. That guy hung the pitch, hung the breaking ball, and he just crushed it. And you hope, more importantly, above decision right or wrong, that this is the catalyst. This is what launches. This takes some of the pressure off of him, and that maybe he's up there, like we talk about, gripping the bat a little tighter. He's a little more aware. He knows that he's been expanding the zone. He's been chasing pitches up. He's been, a lot of strikeouts. So maybe this, just a one-sided bludgeoning of a team. You've now won 3 in a row. you're back in first place. You hit a grand slam. The building goes nuts. Maybe he enters tonight's game with a little lighter feeling on his shoulders.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was the whole thing was kind of poetic almost because, it's like, okay, I don't think anybody knew exactly what the numbers. I mean, it didn't have the numbers that he had there on, Canzone and Cal. But, it was kind of like, I think a lot of Mariner fans were like, okay, yeah, I mean, Cal is not doing well, but it was something poetic about the fact that it was the first pitch, and he made him pay for thinking that he was this guy instead of the guy last year. So, yeah, I mean, you hope, like you said, that this is something that will just, sometimes just one little thing clicks, and then, you take off. And it seems to me it's more like that in baseball than it is in any other sport.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, that was, it was just a very cool moment for, I think, everybody at the time. I think a lot of people wanted to put it in Francona's face. But yeah, I mean, he actually did the right thing at the time. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, it was something poetic about it, that maybe that is something that's going to make Cal just kind of turn around, and that's the turning point.
Well, and we talked about it, that this team desperately needs him just to be that threat. Nobody expects he's going to be on that pace. He's not going to turn into last season's version of Cal all of a sudden. Maybe he does get hot. That'd be great. But just be more of a consistent threat when you're stepping up there. Whereas before the game yesterday, we're talking about, what do? Do you drop him down? You drop him down even further? Is he hitting eighth? You can't replace him. Garver is not a better option. Even with Cal struggling that way, we talked about it yesterday, that I don't have more faith Garver's going to come up with a hit than Cal. So you don't really have anything you could do other than say, dude, I hope you come out of this soon, man, because you're in the lineup. You're the starting catcher regardless. We don't have a better option on the bench. So, yeah, they desperately need him. And now, despite everything that's been negative, that hasn't gone right, injuries, lack of performance, Mariners are in first place again. And I know the division's bad. I know it's not saying a ton, but look, they're in first place right now. This is a team that this division is just there to be had. Nobody wants it. Everybody, the Rangers went on a little run. Now they've lost 2 in a row, and they're in second place. The Astros, they won last night, but they've dropped 7 of 10. You got the A's who've dropped 8 of 10. The Angels are out. I mean, it's just nobody wants it. So the Mariners, they don't need to improve that much to really, really present a huge gap between them and the second-place team. Yeah. All you need is Cal to step it up a bit. You need Julio to step it up a bit. You need Naylor to step it up just a bit. They don't have to have career years. It's not going to take a ton. As long as the pitching can keep doing what it's doing, and I don't want to lose sight of that because the pitching's been outstanding, and you got it again last night. But we did see a moment of concern last night. Julio, he drives in a run with an infield hit, beats the throw hits him in the hip area, back of the leg, and you see him grab the back of his leg like it's his hamstring. And I don't think Goldsmith or the announcer seemed to catch it initially because I think they were thinking hamstring, but he got hit with the ball. Didn't look like it was that hard, but he stayed in the game after he got hit, and then when the half inning was over, he didn't come back out, and Dan Wilson explains why they took him out of the game.
He's good. Julio busting down the line, and he got the ball off the leg, and we kind of had to make a quick decision, and just thought that it was the best moment there, just coming off of what he's coming off of to get him out, and we'll see how he is tomorrow.
I'm trying to remember where that happened. At what point did he?
It was the 6th inning, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, again, that was a blessing to me because at first all I saw was him grab his hamstring. I'm like, oh no, that. And then when I found out he got hit by the ball, I'm like, whew, okay, good.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and at that point, you wasn't much of a threat. So yeah, no problem having him pull him out there. And in the beginning of that interview, there, Dan says he's good. So,
yeah. It sounds like he should be ready to go. I mean, it didn't, look, we're watching a replay. We didn't get hit with the ball, so I don't know what that felt like to him. But, because a lot of people are like, that didn't look like a big deal. I'm like, how do you know unless you experience it? I have no idea what that felt like. It doesn't get, L.A. De La Cruz he's got a gun, man. Guy can fire the ball. So I don't imagine it felt great. Obviously, it was enough for him to not finish the game, and hopefully he's back in there today. You are also without JP Crawford, who we saw the game before where he went to first base, and then all of a sudden Dan and the trainer came out, and even the broadcast team was like, whoa, what's going on? Did they see something there? What's going on? And JP told him he was fine, and then you see him kind of flexing his hand, and he's got something going on there. So then you fast forward to last night. He's not in the lineup. Colt Emerson was supposed to have the night off, but JP was unable to go, so Colt plays. But Dan Wilson talked about the latest with JP Crawford.
Yeah, just a little bit of wrist soreness. Again, we'll just kind of take it day to day at this point and hopefully know a little bit more tomorrow.
Yeah, speaking of Colt Emerson, having to work on his birthday, poor guy.
Yeah.
But that double play that him and Cole Young almost pulled off was like one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in baseball. I watched it a couple of times over because both guys like executed spin moves kind of to do it. And we talk about
to keep his foot on the bag and receive that throw while he's kind of spinning to even get the throw off was like.
Yeah, and he drags the toe.
Yeah, because initially I'm like, that didn't look like he was touching the base.
I know.
And then when they showed the replay, you're like, wow, that was
impressive,
athletic.
man? Oh my God. And just that all happens. It's a boom boom play. I mean, you just all of a sudden, and Colt Emerson and really Cole too. I mean, he does a great job on that. I mean, it was like the perfect body movement to try to pull that off. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was totally in real-time speed. I was like, there's no way he got his toe down on second base.
Yeah, I was waiting for the challenge. I was waiting for the Reds to challenge it.
Ready for move-in day?
Yeah, but Colt Emerson, no, I'm not actually ready for move-in day. But yeah, I mean that was like one of my favorite things that I watched this year. And I've said that a lot about Colt Emerson, like remember he did like a pop-up slide to get a ball that went off somebody's glove. He does things very instinctively, and we talked to his high school coach about that, and that was the way he described it. But also Cole Young too. Yeah. And then afterwards, you see him like, they're kind of looking over each other like, well, we didn't quite get that one. It was like no big deal. I mean, these guys, both of them, he just turned 21 and 22, 23, and those guys are just acting like, yeah, no big deal. We'll get it next time.
Yeah, 22-year-old and a 21-year-old there. That was great. And then our guy, who we've been championing since he's been here, Victor Robles, just put on a show last night. He did a little bit of everything. He goes 4 for 4, steals a base, throws a guy out at home, which I don't know what the hell Arroyo was doing. We're talking about a shallow fly. If you didn't see the game, this ball was probably, maybe 10, 15 steps behind second base?
Yeah.
I mean, shallow center field, runner on third. And for whatever reason, Arroyo says, I'm going to go ahead and tag. I don't know if the third base coach sent him or if he did that on his own, but you could have a noodle arm in center field and could have gunned him down. But Cal caught the ball and looked like he was like, go ahead, come on. I'll be here. Mm-hmm. Just make your way home and I'll tag you.
You think you could have thrown him out?
Yes.
Yeah. Right now.
Right now.
Okay.
Let me warm up a little bit. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of a mindless play where you go, that's why they're in last place. Mm-hmm. Decisions like that. He's a former Mariner prospect, by the way. But I didn't get that at all. And then they showed the replay as they were coming off the field, and Victor, I don't know who he was talking to, but he was pointing to his head like going, and then he does the crazy sign like, what are you doing? Like he's just shrugging his shoulders like, I can't believe that guy tried to tag up, but okay. So, yeah, all in all, I mean, just great night for Victor to go 4 for 4, have an impact on the bases, in the box, in the field, and that's not who he is every night. I get it. He's not a big power hitter. He's not a superstar, but he's one of those guys that can make things happen. And I think he should be in the lineup more than he is, regardless of injury.
He's an instigator.
Yeah,
is what he is, and not like in a bad way, like in a Jose Caballero way, but yeah, I mean
he's up to his old tricks.
Yeah, but I liked Cabby when he was here and doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, Victor is just somebody that just is always high energy, kind of spoon-like a little bit, like he's always going and running his mouth. It seems like, and I love it. You love having a guy like that, and you're on the other team, you probably hate him. Right?
Yeah.
But he's our guy. He's our jerk, right?
That's right.
We love him.
I don't know if he's as antagonistic as Caballero is. Caballero seems like he's ready just to bark at anybody and just to he's trying to agitate, where Victor just seems a little more animated, but I don't see him barking at anybody or talking any smack. Cabby's trying to get you fired up.
Remember when we had a sweep last year and we went into the clubhouse afterwards, and he was in his shoulder brace, but he was carrying around a broom, screaming out something in Spanish, and it was hilarious.
It was very loud. Yeah. All right, let's take two.
Well, Brendan Donovan's rehab assignment moves over to Everett. Hopefully just this week. Tacoma's on the road, so he'll be there in Everett tonight. First pitch slightly after 7, so no lineup out yet, but Donovan did play in the field on Sunday when he was in Tacoma. He was at second base.
Yeah, and I know they just want to see physically how he's handling this, how is he recovering, all of that. But has he had a hit yet?
I was going to say, isn't he?
He's had a hit.
I think he's 0 for 7.
Yeah, with 3 strikeouts.
Yeah, I think he's 0 for his rehab.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's
working on things, Bob.
Yeah, and again, I don't know how much they're putting into that unless they just feel like his timing is way off and he's not close. I think it's more about, hey, how is he responding physically? How is he the next day? Obviously, putting him in the field, they feel like he's making progress because he was just DHing initially.
All right, we have a couple of weeks until the first episode of Hard Knocks airs. So training camp starts this Saturday. We'll be out there for our first show on Monday. The first episode of Hard Knocks will air Tuesday, August 4th. 5 episodes, runs every Tuesday night through, September 1st, I believe.
Okay, I was thinking about this last night. This would be a good text question, 866-979-3776. How do Bob and I get on that show? I'm thinking Bob maybe wearing like your karate garb. You know what I mean?
My karate garb.
No, I mean your jiu-jitsu.
The gi?
Bring out is that what it's called?
It's called a gi.
Gi.
It's going to be really hot there, Dave, so
maybe
I don't see wearing that.
Maybe your motorcycle helmet.
So I'm going to wear a gi and a helmet to sit there.
Yeah.
Risking in the sun.
It's going to be
For
hot,
me,
Dave.
I'm going to wear those old coaching shorts, that had like the band that goes around the equator, like
around the belly,
the fat part.
Yeah,
and then
go shirtless.
No, I'm going to go with just an old Seahawk jersey and put Y Monster on the back. One of the more ridiculous.
Is that the way we really want to get on that show?
That's how we get on. No, but I would say maybe the texters have better ideas than that.
How we get on the show?
Yeah.
We'd have to make some sort of scene to where the cameras would be drawn to us.
Why don't you go out and karate chop one of their...
I'm going to go choke out one of the cameramen.
There you go.
Well, I mean, last time, remember, NFL Network was there, and Trey Brown and DK Metcalf got into a fight. So it'd have to be one of you guys running onto the field and just, intercepting someone.
Maybe with somebody from one of the TV stations or one of the other radio stations. We'll just pick a fight with them.
Yeah.
It'll be like Anchorman.
Go out there and pick a fight with one of the players. I'll take Jason Myers.
That's very brave of you, Dave.
Yeah.
Take Two is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. He had an interesting trade idea for the Mariners. We'll talk to him about it. Jim Bowden, he's going to join us, talk some Mariner baseball coming up with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
Swung on and destroyed!
Was this the big night we've been waiting for from the Big Dumper?
Grand slam, Cal Raleigh!
Trying to build off of that and trying to get it rolling.
Back into sole possession of first place in the AL West. Tonight, the M's look to make it 4 straight wins in Game 2 against the Reds at T-Mobile. 6:40 first pitch, 5:30 pregame. Listen wherever you are on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, here's one for every homeowner listening. Dave Wyman here, and Fast Water Heater has kept our water warm since 1986. That was just before my rookie year. So 4 full decades of serving our neighborhoods, and now they're a part of Fast Home Services, applying that same standard of excellence to your whole house. Plumbing, heating, cooling, electrical, the name you already trust, keeping your family comfortable, safe, happy, and healthy across the entire house. So call 1-800-THINK-FAST to book your free in-home estimate, or visit fasthomeservices.com for a virtual quote in seconds. Water heaters, plumbing, HVAC, and electrical services.
Emerald Queen Casino Event Center presents the main event, powered by WFC, Saturday night, August 8th. A night of professional boxing where champions are made and every punch counts. Contenders from the region go toe-to-toe, ready to prove they belong at the top. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss Fight Night, August 8th at Emerald Queen Casino. Always entertaining. 21 and older. Need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
How would you like to invest in the Seattle real estate market, one of the hottest and most stable regions in the country, and achieve a great rate of return on your investment without the effort of sourcing a deal, the expense and time of building permits, or all the hassles that come with being a landlord? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Invest in the stability and ease of Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund. Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
Guys, I'll never forget the first time I saw somebody get results at our clinic. He was an 81-year-old man who hadn't been intimate with his wife in over 8 years. Viagra had stopped working for him, and he was desperate for help. After several treatments, he walked into my office and told me he couldn't believe the results. Needless to say, this was a very happy man. This man made me a believer in what we do. He had taken pills for years, but he had never fixed the problem. When he came to us, we fixed the problem. Our treatment does what no pill can do. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today, like the thousands of men who already have.
In addition to treating ED and Peyronie's disease, we now offer testosterone replacement therapy. With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Hi, Chef John Howie here. At Sea Star Restaurant and Raw Bar in Bellevue, we've been serving the East Side for more than 24 years. We love serving our guests and creating wonderful memories. We also love serving the community, from local schools to amazing organizations like Hope Link, the American Cancer Society, Bellevue LifeSpring, and so many more. I want to thank you, our guests, for supporting Sea Star all these years, making it possible for us to serve and help those in need. Thank you. SeaStarRestaurant.com.
Just 4 days
until training camp for the Super Bowl champs. And nobody has it covered like the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports. Les Schwab Tires has been proudly serving communities for over 70 years, and we've collected thousands of inspiring stories. Like Kate, who was off on a long road trip with her best friend when the dash lit up like a game show. They find the nearest Les Schwab. Turns out they really needed an oil change. It was done in a flash. Road trip saved. At Les Schwab, we're proud to keep you rolling. Les Schwab Tires. Our greatest story is yours. Stories are composites inspired by real customer feedback.
Tim Hunter, a lifelong local radio host, underwent Swedish CyberKnife treatment for prostate cancer. What's it like to go through the CyberKnife treatment?
You do a 5-day-in-a-row stint. You go to the Swedish hospital. They say set aside 45 minutes for each treatment. It's really only about 35 minutes of that little robotic arm dancing around you. There's no pain involved. It was just too easy.
Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife. Swedish.org/CyberKnife Prostate.
CyberKnife is a registered trademark of Accuray Incorporated and is used with permission.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
7 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Hey, Chuck here at Frank Lumber, the door store. You know our customers have a lot of fun with trying to figure out new and creative ways to use closeout bifold blanks to fill their needs. They can also be used as small double door units, access doors that are pre-hung, and even bypass doors. And with thousands of closeout bifold blanks in stock in Marysville and at our bargain barn, you can put your creative DIY mind to work. Come visit our showroom and bargain barn in Shoreline or on Cedar Avenue in Marysville. Also, be sure sure to check us out online at franklumber.com.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
A lot of conversation around the Mariners who've worked their way back into first place in the AL West, but we got the trade deadline approaching, and we got some interesting trade suggestions out there. One that we were talking about yesterday was courtesy of this man who is with us. He's a national writer for The Athletic. He's a host on MLB Network Radio and Foul Territory. Jim Bowden is here with us. Jim, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. How are you? Happy trade deadline week.
Yeah, you too. This is well, first of all, before we get into the Mariners specifically, what kind of trade deadline do you expect? Because all we keep hearing from the national voices is that all of these teams feel like they're in it. There's so many teams who are mathematically there within a few games, so everybody's going to feel like they're buyers. They're not sellers, which the prices are going to go way up. The ask is going to be way higher than years past. Do you buy that?
Yeah, Bob, I find it really fascinating. As you know, I stay in touch with all 30 of the front offices on a regular basis. And, yeah, there are a lot of teams that are telling me we're going to see how we do through the weekend, and then we're going to make our decision. And so I think because we have so much parity, so many American League teams within striking distance of the wild card, same thing in the National League, that teams could go either way. But, normally – it does kind of, work its way out. Like, we already know Colorado, the Angels, Royals, Mets, Giants, Reds, they're selling. We know Toronto's pretty close to selling. Detroit hasn't made their decision yet, but they're going to have to go on a pretty good run of winning to probably not go out there. So, you got Washington and Miami that, again, they're going to look this week to see how it goes, decide which way to go. But there is enough out there with the selling teams to satisfy every contender with at least one acquisition that would help them get better. And, in fact, I'm writing an article for The Athletic for Friday where I have that one target for each team, which realistically they can get even if more teams don't sell. So, look, I think it's going to be a very interesting 10 days to say the least. I don't think that we know and won't know until the end if Tarek Skubal, Joe Ryan are going to headline, the trade deadline. It may end up being the Mets. It may end up being the Blue Jays that end up being the headliner instead. But, again, we just have to wait and see. But it'll be fun either way.
Hey, Jim, we were receptive to your idea yesterday, and then we saw George Kirby pitch last night, and now we're not so excited about it.
His sixth consecutive quality start.
Yeah. Yeah, but, I mean, is he the guy that gets the most in return, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, let's do it this way from there. First of all, my preference would to keep all five starters in trade Castillo, obviously, because of age and money.
Right.
My preference would be to keep all of them. That's what I would prefer to do. I'd rather take one of them and put them in the bullpen when Cade Anderson is ready. That's how I feel. But what I tried to do in that article is I try to listen to the front office executives and then try to find a way to satisfy what their needs are, right? And so Jerry DiPoto, the president of the Mariners, came on my MLB Network radio show and said that he would like to get a right-hand hitter because they really struggle against left-hand pitching, and he said he'd like to get another high-leverage reliever. So I just kind of looked through the 29 other teams to try to figure out a way, how can I get the Mariners a right-handed bat that the Phillies and other teams have been trying to get that just aren't out there, and get the reliever that he wants. And so then I kind of landed on, well, the Giants do have Casey Schmidt, who's got 19 homers on his way to 25 to 30. Eric Miller, last 8 appearances, hadn't given up a run. He doesn't walk anybody. He punches everybody out. And I'm thinking, okay, well, if you take Schmidt and you take Miller and you put them on the Mariners, that solves the two big needs you say you need. And so maybe you make a bad trade and you win the World Series and it was worth it. Yeah. So that was like the thought process behind, the Theo Epstein idea of I'll give up too much to get a Aroldis Chapman, but if I win the World Series, it's okay. So that was kind of my thinking, behind it. But my preference would be to keep all of them. But at the same time, when I look at some of these young pitchers and I see they haven't been signed long-term and the control is, 2.5 years left, at some point you have to think about, is it time to consider moving one of them?
Well, and just to continue with what you said there, the idea of I'll trade too much if it becomes, if it turns into a World Series berth, is it, on the surface, when you look at that proposal you put out there, is that too much? Are the Giants technically on paper, do you feel like, they're winning that trade if we're just going value for value?
I think the Giants win the trade, and I think the Mariners team is better. That's where the balance is. You got Kate Anderson sitting in the minors that I think can do what Kirby's doing. So it's replaceable. So if I added Kate Anderson and Schmidt's 25 to 30 homers and Miller's impact in the back of the bullpen, does that give me a better chance to win this year? I think so. Yeah, I think so. That's kind of how I looked at it. But yes, it's giving up too much for me. I'd like to keep all the pitching. It's so hard to get. Yeah. That would be my preference. But I was trying to find a way to satisfy what Jerry's trying to do. And it's not easy in this marketplace right now to get a right-hand hitter. You can get a reliever, but it's hard to get that right-hand hitter with power.
Yeah, I mean, it's always painful, right? You have to give up somebody that, might go on to conquer the world. But, hey, I wanted to ask you, Jim, what do you think about Cal Raleigh and, what happened last night? Could that be a catalyst? I don't know if you saw the highlight or whatever, but just him breaking out of that slump, I thought, the way he ran around the bases was like, okay, that's old Cal. It wasn't like he was incredibly excited or anything, but wonder if that can be the catalyst for him to get back to where he was, somewhere close to where he was last year.
Well, I'm going to pray for that. Look, I told people on foul territory 10 days ago, I said the Mariners are going to win the AL West, and they're going to run away with it in August and September. And that's without making a move. And I stand by that assessment. And I stand by the assessment because nobody else has that kind of starting pitching. And in August and September, that's when the proven starting pitchers beat other teams that don't have that. That's when they separate. The other reason is I saw the Mariners play the Marlins in Miami just before the All-Star game. And the Mariners look really flat. And I was like, what is going on with this team? I think the Marlins swept all the games I saw.
Yeah.
I think they were, and they weren't playing. They looked like the Phillies and Red Sox did in April, right? It was like
it was awful.
It's just not on. It's hard for me to watch Julio Rodriguez not. When's the last time we saw him at a home run? I don't remember the last time I saw him at a home run. I really don't. Cal Raleigh, how do you go from 60 homers and second in MVP to this? Like, how does that happen? So I tend to normally think when you don't have age and decline as a reason and you don't have injuries as a reason and the players are healthy, I tend to think players end up performing by the end of the year the way they're supposed to. And so my feeling would be if I was a betting person, and I'm not a betting person, even in this era I'm not, I would say this. I believe the Seattle Mariners will be in the ALCS. I don't know if they get to the World Series, but I think they're going to get there. That's how much I like this baseball team, and I have. Why they're not playing better is befuddling. Why they didn't play with any energy. I see a lot of teams come to South Florida, and they don't play with energy the next day, and I get it. I see some of them at 11 or some of the clubs down here, so I kind of understand why. But when you have a team this good, there's no reason they should be around 500. There's no excuse for that.
Hey, and looking at that rotation, we've always, Jim, kind of come to the grips with the idea that, all right, of the four young guys, and just for this conversation, I'm excluding Emerson Hancock, who's been brilliant this year, by the way, but we've always felt like maybe they keep two, or they can't pay all four. That's just not reality. So we're always like, all right, well, which two? Let's pretend they're going to keep two. Which two would you say, these are my guys, I can't let them go? If that were your decision and you're looking at Gilbert, Miller, Wu, and Kirby, who are the two you look at and go, I'm not letting these guys go? The other two I would begrudgingly part with.
Yeah, if it's my decision, I said it before, I'll say it again, I'm keeping all of them. Period. And Kate Anderson. And the owner's got to pay for it. The owner's got to pay. And I've got to explain to them how difficult it is. And I'm not going to quit fighting for that. It's hard for me. I mean, it's easy for me to sit there and say, hey, Logan Gilbert has to be one of them. I love Brian Wu. Bryce Miller's been your best pitcher. And I'd probably decide, two out of those three. But here's the disadvantage I have. I'm a couple thousand miles away. I'm not in the clubhouse every day. I don't get to watch the work ethic. I don't get to watch them in meetings. I don't get to watch their leadership qualities. I don't get to watch how they make adjustments, how they learn, what their passion is, how much they actually love the game, how much they want to be the best they can be. And those intangibles is how I would decide between the two I'm keeping if that scenario had to happen.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I would fight with all my might to have my owner sign all of them. But I also would have tried to sign all of them by now. Yeah. I don't like waiting. Once you get 2.5 years out, oh, God, it gets scary. And then 1.5 years, forget about it. Like, it just gets harder every single time. That's why before Kate Anderson makes that first pitch, I've got him signed. I'm giving him the $100 million. I'm not even going to wait till he gets to the show and prove it. Here's your $100 million. I'm not going to wait. Reg just did it to Chase Burns, who's an 8. If I can sign him, and I don't think he's a 1. I think he's a 2 or a 3. But you sign him as early as you can. That's my opinion on that. Or at some point, unfortunately, they're going to end up having to trade one of them, maybe even as early as this offseason.
He is a national writer for The Athletic, a host on MLB Network Radio and Foul Territory. Jim Bowden has been our guest here, does a great job. Jim, really appreciate you cutting out time. We love the conversation, and hopefully we get a chance to do this again soon.
Yeah, Bob and Dave, and I love your show, by the way. I appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Jim.
You.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate you. There you go. There's Jim Bowden, does a great job covering the sport of baseball. He's talking to all these teams and feels like it'll be get active.
I like his idea there. Just pay them all.
I'm with you.
Pay them all.
Yeah, I'm on board with that plan. I just don't think ownership is. So I would love to hear him making that case to ownership. Like they're in a room and, all right, present your case, sir. Let's hear it.
I think he'd start off with, well, do you want to win a World Series or not?
Yeah. How important is a World Series to you? Because I can tell you how to get there, but you need to let me know, is that truly your priority at all costs? Mm-hmm. So there you go. If you guys didn't catch all of that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Meanwhile, there was something slightly alarming that Brady Henderson brought up with us yesterday. We're going to get into that coming up next with Wyman and Bob. It's Seattle Sports on 710.
Back on February 8th, the countdown started at 167 days.
3, 2, 1.
Right after the clock showed zeros.
The Seahawks win Super Bowl 60.
The champs are back on the field in just 4 days when Seahawks training camp begins.
We know that we're target number 1 now.
And nobody covers Seahawks training camp like the home of the Super Bowl champs. Seattle Sports.
You guys have heard me talk about this time of year when the weather's like this. I am on the motorcycle every single day. Every chance I get, I want to soak it up, take advantage of it. And I always have people talk to me about it's not if, but when you get in an accident, which I don't appreciate those remarks. But if that were to happen, and knock on wood, it hasn't to this point, it's comforting knowing I've got somebody like the Law Tigers that have my back. They were born from a passion for the open road. They've been there for over 25 years, and they've seen something every rider knows, a community that has each other's backs. They were built by riders, for riders, protecting what matters most, your freedom, your family, and the ride. So if you find yourself on the wrong end of things, you find yourself in an accident, Law Tigers are there for you 24/7, and they're going to help you get your bike and your gear repaired or replaced because they know how important those things are to you. So if you find yourself injured in a motorcycle accident, do yourself a favor. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS or visit lawtigers.com because every ride you take, your freedom could be on the line. The Law Tigers, Washington's Motorcycle Lawyers, Cook Law Office, PLLC, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
There couldn't be a better time to save money, and one of the easiest ways to save?
Take the First Mark Challenge.
Molly and I took the First Mark Insurance Challenge, and we saved thousands of dollars the first year with First Mark, and we've been saving ever since.
Same for Mike and I. Here's how First Mark Insurance works for you, not the insurance companies.
They compare rates and coverage from dozens of the top-rated carriers. Then they go to work to find the right coverage at the lowest possible price for your family.
And when you need them, you'll talk to a real person who knows you and who's there to help. That's the kind of world-class service that has kept us with First Mark year after year.
Seriously, wouldn't you like to know if you could be paying less? Take the First Mark Challenge today. It costs you nothing. There's no obligation, and you'll find out just how much money you could be saving every single month.
You could be the next First Mark Challenge victory. They've had over 11,000 of them.
Don't give your insurance company a free raise before you renew. Let First Mark review Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
What are you waiting for? Your savings could start tomorrow.
firstmarkinsurance.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
Dave Wyman here, brand new member of Harborstone Credit Union, and I got my PNW Cashback checking account for free. No fees or minimums, and when I make everyday purchases with my Harborstone PNW Cashback debit card, I earn up to $30 each month. Gas, groceries, coffee, travel, lunch, all categories count toward your cash back. Open your free account online like I did. Go to harborstone.com/cash or visit one of their 29 branches across the Northwest.
Insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
The countdown is on.
Just 4 days
until Seahawks training camp on the home of the Super Bowl champion Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Imagine Wi-Fi so intelligent it can actually fix itself. That means when there's a problem, it doesn't slow you down. It keeps your streaming smooth, your gaming lag-free, and your work from home right on track. Well, this is Wi-Fi built for the way you live. Powered by a fiber network with 99.999% reliability, delivering incredible speed and strong, consistent coverage in every corner of your home, even those hard-to-reach spots. And it's just not fast. It's secure. Think of it as a security blanket for your entire network, keeping everything connected and working together seamlessly. And here's the best part. You can lock in 5 full years of predictable pricing. No contracts, no surprises, just one simple plan that includes everything: data, equipment, and the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi. Plus, you can get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi installation. Comcast. Imagine that. Restrictions do apply. Select plans only, but make the call today to 1-800-XFINITY.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
from the Quantum Fiber Studio. You're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Our thanks once again to Jim Bowden, who joined us in the previous segment. In case you guys just tuned in and missed that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show. Just go to seattlesports.com and click that podcast tab. Click on our picture, and there it is, waiting for you after the show. And don't forget, you can click subscribe. It's completely free, and then it just shows up for you, and you have all those things you missed throughout the week showing up for you perfectly. Meanwhile, we had Brady Henderson on yesterday of ESPN.com. If you missed that, that's up there on the podcast page for you as well. But talked about a couple of different things, obviously, with him, and we got into some of the contract stuff, more specifically around Devon Witherspoon, because I think we all thought, most people thought, after JSN got signed pretty quickly, that thing was just smooth. It seemed like it was just done. Like you heard there was an offer being made, and boom, all of a sudden it was done. We're like, okay, Witherspoon's up next. And then we had heard that, they'd made an offer to JSN, is it now 5 months ago? Something like that, I think Brady said, but haven't heard anything since. And he talked about why the holdup with Witherspoon, in his opinion, is not coming from the Seahawks side.
You know, when they got the JSN deal done in, what was that, late March, they immediately turned their attention to an extension for Witherspoon, and they made their initial offer, not long after that. So we're talking about, I can't do math on the fly, but this is 5-6 months, whatever it is, and they haven't got a deal done. That's an abnormal amount of time. I don't know that it is necessarily a matter of the two sides being far apart on a price, because my sense is that the Seahawks have been prepared to make him the highest paid cornerback in the NFL.
So roughly a little over 4 months ago is when that happened. Then he also, one more from Brady, speculated why Witherspoon's agent might be waiting to get a Christian Gonzalez deal done first.
I don't know if it's about money so much as I just think, you've got to have both sides being willing to engage. And I'm not sure. I wonder if this is dragged on because Witherspoon's side has not been as willing to play ball as the Seahawks have. Now, the question becomes, why is that? Well, a couple ideas. One is that the agent who represents Devon Witherspoon also represents Christian Gonzalez of the Patriots, and that's going to be a similarly, top-of-the-market deal, and maybe he's waiting to get that done before he gets the Witherspoon deal done.
Yeah, I think first of all, I think the ego of the agent might be getting involved there a little bit too much because, do you have to be the highest paid cornerback? I mean, does Devon Witherspoon have to be? I just feel like
maybe his agent has convinced him he should be.
Well, yeah, and that's where I think they get in the way of that. And I hope that Devon Witherspoon is directing his agent like, look, I want to be there. I want you to get it, obviously, as much as you possibly can. But, hopefully he'll say, I'm not going to hold out. I'm not going to make a big dramatic scene or anything. Just get me in the ballpark of, top paid corners. And, make that the end, because I don't know. At this point, you're talking about, maybe an extra $1 million or $2 million over 2 or 3 years, probably. I mean, do you really does Witherspoon? I mean, he's such a team guy. He doesn't strike me as someone who has to be the highest paid corner in the NFL. So
yeah, I don't know. I don't. Yeah. I honestly don't know. And the thing about that is that honor seems to last for a week or 2 weeks until the next guy signs.
Yeah, it's not.
How long do you stay at any position in football?
Yeah.
How long are you the guy when it comes to highest paid at that spot? It feels like it's a very short window because invariably somebody else signs at that spot and now they've exceeded you by $1 million or whatever it is. It just feels like an honor that doesn't last very long, and maybe that doesn't matter to them. Maybe they just want to be able to say at that moment, you know what? I'm the highest paid at this position.
Right. Yeah, I just don't see that in Devon Witherspoon. And look, like you said, we don't really know, but I think I do. I think I know Witherspoon well enough and the way he fits into this defense. And I've talked to him twice, but, I just, the way his actions, he seems very unselfish. He seems like a team guy. Mike McDonald loves him. And we've seen that. We saw this with Derek Hall that, like I said, and somebody was saying, well, the structure of his contract might be better than Boye Mafe's. And I'm like, that's not how young players think. Mm-hmm. Young players think, hey, I'm going to kick butt and I'm going to get every last dollar of this, contract that you offered me. And so, like a veteran will do that, but not a couple of young guys. So, and that's the sort of spirit I feel like that kind of is alive out there at the VMAC, because you just have guys that are willing to give up for one another. And I just think Devon Witherspoon's a team player. And I don't know, but I hope that he's telling his agent, I'm not going to make a big scene over this deal.
Yeah, as long as he's out there participating and he's not copying an attitude and he's comfortable with where they're at in the negotiations or whatever, he's comfortable with whatever the plan is. If the agent says, let's wait it out, let's see how things go through the season, whatever it is, as long as he's comfortable with the position they are currently in, whatever that means, that's fine. I just don't want a disgruntled player out there. And he doesn't appear that way. Obviously, he's been out there. We saw him in mini camps and he's smiling and chirping and yelling. You can't help but hear him.
Oh, you can hear him. Yeah.
So he seems like the old Witherspoon to me. He's not holding in. He's not there, but not participating. He's a part of the whole thing. So as long as that's going on, then I'm at peace with where they're at. But I am curious as to, okay, you made that offer over 4 months ago, and you haven't heard anything since. Or maybe they're close. Maybe they're working out the final details as far as we know.
Yeah, could happen at any second.
Yeah.
I would bet against him making some kind of a scene.
Yeah.
Or being, negative about it or whatever.
Meanwhile, George Kirby has made his case as an indispensable part of this rotation, but is it still worth it to explore trading him? We'll get into that coming up next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
Swung on and destroyed!
Was this the big night we've been waiting for from the Big Dumper?
Grand slam, Cal Robles!
Trying to build off of that and trying to get it wrong.
Back into sole possession of first place in the AL West. Tonight, the M's look to make it 4 straight wins in Game 2 against the Reds at T-Mobile. 6:40 first pitch, 5:30 pregame. Listen wherever you are on the Seattle Sports app.
In January, a Portland teenager at Goodwill stumbled upon a 1972 playoff warm-up jacket worn by Wilt Chamberlain. He bought it for $3. I can only imagine how that person who used to own that is feeling now. And now you may not be sitting on a warm-up jacket worn by Wilt the Still, but there's serious value to the gold, jewelry, watches, silver, and coins that you might have at home or in storage. It's Dave Wyman here encouraging you to see what those things are worth at Bellevue Rare Coins. They'll give you an honest, no-pressure assessment, allowing you to make a decision on whether to sell and how much to sell for. Bellevue Rare Coins is a trusted local business serving Washington since 1979, and they've expanded to 4 locations now. They're in Bellevue, of course, Issaquah, Tacoma, and Linwood. Gold and silver reached all-time highs earlier this year, and there's no guarantee they'll stay this high. So cash in now, and at the very least, see how much your stuff is worth. You can go to BellevueRareCoins.com.
Let me take you back 104 years ago. The year is 1922. The president is Warren G. Harding. Insulin is a breakthrough diabetes treatment. Betty White is born, and Wayscar Ford opens in Auburn. I mean, think about that. The Ford Bronco Sport I'm driving is from a dealership that's been around for 104 years. How's that possible? Wayscar Ford is a model of consistency, and their secret, it's all about the people, employees and customers, just like you and me. I'm looking at their core values, but they're more than words on paper. They mean it. They care. You know who I actually just texted with a question about the car? The guy I got it from at Wayscar Ford. He's awesome, and so is everyone, from the front desk all the way up to Way himself. Wayscar Ford is celebrating their 104th birthday in Auburn with exclusive deals for loyal customers. No payments for 104 days. Enter to win tickets. Go see them in person and be part of history. The Wayscarf Way. 104 years of service, trust, and community. Wayscarford.com.
Everyone always asks me, what were your top reasons for choosing Advanced Hair? Well, allow me to share, along with some details, on, get this, their once-a-year summer savings event. Okay, first off, Advanced Hair stands by the results, and I'm living proof those results are second to none. With Advanced Hair, your own natural hair is guaranteed to grow. Secondly, Advanced Hair combines top-rated physicians with modern technology, creating a concierge quality experience that blew away my expectations. And lastly, Advanced Hair's Advanced FUE begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. It is quick, simple, and easy. Now, if you have a flexible schedule this summer and you've been waiting for that special savings opportunity, well, it's here. Advanced Hair's Summer Savings Event will get you the most hair for your dollar. It's their best offer ever. For details to schedule your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. Your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
Let me ask you something. When was the last time you compared your insurance?
If you're like most people, it's probably been years.
That's exactly why I took the First Mark Challenge. They searched rates from dozens of top insurance companies, and I ended up saving thousands of dollars.
Same experience here. And here's what surprised me. It was completely free. No cost, no obligation. They simply show you whether they can find you lower premiums, better coverage, or both.
Why wouldn't you take the First Mark Challenge? Think about it. If they can save you money, you win. If they can improve your your coverage, you win. And if they can't do either, you've lost absolutely nothing.
That's why more than 11,000 clients trust Firstmark Insurance. They work for you, not a single insurance company.
Plus, Firstmark has world-class customer service. When you need help, you're talking with local people who know you and your policy, not some random call center.
Stop wondering if you're paying too much. Find out.
Before you renew, let Firstmark review.
You have nothing to lose and possibly thousands to save.
Take the Firstmark Insurance Challenge today at firstmarkinsurance.com.
Firstmarkinsurance.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, former Seahawk and now a member of the Miami Dolphins, Jordan Brooks has agreed to a 3-year, $51.3 million extension with $35 million of that guaranteed. That's according to Adam Schefter. He becomes the third key Dolphins player to receive a multi-year extension with the team this offseason. Brooks is now the 6th highest paid inside linebacker in the NFL in terms of total contract value and average annual value. So congrats to the former Seahawk. Meanwhile, Mariners get the big win in Game 1 against the Cincinnati Reds last night. They look to win the series tonight when they send Luis Castillo up to the hill. He faces off against his old team. It's going to be a rough one, though. Chase Burns is pitching very, very well. He's 11-1 with a 2.54 ERA. He goes for the Reds. You can catch it all starting at 5:30 with the pregame show. 6:40 first pitch right here. Seattle Sports on 710.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision RLE.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. You want to weigh in on the Mariners, Seahawks, whatever's on your mind, we're here for you. The text line is there for you as well. You can vent there. We'll get into some of the conversations as we get closer to training camp getting underway for your Seattle Seahawks. Meanwhile, last night we saw the Mariners take out the Reds in Game 1, which is great. We saw George Kirby go 6 innings, gives up just 3 hits, no runs, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. That's his 6 consecutive quality starts for Kirby. And part of the conversation on the heels of that was, what is Dan doing? He threw 80 pitches to get to that number, just 80 pitches. Mm-hmm. You were up 1-0 when Dan elected to say, you know what, that's good. That's good. So he was obviously, had people hitting me because I tweeted out something like, hey, fantastic outing by Kirby. And then a lot of the comments immediately were, why were they pulling him? What's Dan doing? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. Well, he was asked about it after the game, and here's Dan's explanation.
It had been a long layoff for him, and 80 pitches, 6 strong. He put us right where we needed to be, and felt like that was a good time to move on. And again, the way he threw the ball tonight, he got behind a couple of times, a couple of different situations. He had to work through it, but he was able to get the big pitch. He got a chance to get through those innings, and he and Cal worked a really nice game plan tonight.
So I guess that makes sense. He hadn't pitched in a while. But You had a 1-0 lead. It's not like, hey, we're up 5-0 and we can go to the bullpen here. And
yeah, is it Davila or Davila? Davila.
I've heard it pronounced both ways. I think they're saying Davila.
Wilcox, Michael Rucker get lit up. I mean, you're just why? I don't know. That one kind of gets to me a little bit just because, you feel like he's cruising right there. And look, this is me playing manager. Dan knows. Dan knows better, and I didn't notice Kirby, whether he was pissed off about it or not. I couldn't tell if he was irritated or whatever, but it just seems like I would be, if you're rolling and your adrenaline's starting to go, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, and 80 pitches, I don't know. It just seems like this year there's been lots of times that Logan is rolling like that, or Kirby or Miller, and you see Dan pull him out. And I don't know. He knows their health, I guess, better than anyone. I'm sort of this disclaimer here, but it does annoy me that they don't have their pitchers, especially when they're rolling like this, go a little bit deeper just to help the bullpen.
And you just hit the mark there, the bullpen, because if moving forward, let's say Luis, and hopefully this doesn't happen, but he goes out there, gets shelled, and you pull him out in the third. Well, you've already dipped into the bullpen. You had guys that had pitched in consecutive games coming into last night's game. They were talking about Munoz and, is he going to be available? At the time, it was 1-0. So you're like, oh, man, we're going to have to go to him for the third night in a row. You're using up arms that maybe you wouldn't have to otherwise use moving forward. So, when you got a 6-man rotation, you're down an arm in the bullpen.
Right.
You'd think you'd try to squeeze as much as you can out of the starter. Now, again, the one caveat is we don't know how Kirby was feeling going into that after all that time off. Was he feeling like, I'm not quite as sharp, I'm not quite as strong, I don't, the endurance isn't quite where it needs to be, and he was at peace with it? He didn't seem to be, demonstrably angry or anything. In fact, we saw him sitting on his butt on the mound smiling when he had that ball that was hit back at him, and he put his hand out like Emerson Hancock, but kind of pulled it back last minute and then just fell down on his butt and watched the play.
That was pretty funny.
So it was maybe he was on board. Like, I don't have the gas tank I normally have. Got to build back up to. I don't know. Dan knows. Those guys know better than we do. Yeah. But at the time, it was a fair question. Again, all the people. What's he doing? Why would you yank him after 80? Like, I don't have an answer. I don't know. So there's the answer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Dan, has conviction in what he's doing. And maybe, we'll look back and go, oh, yeah, he did a good job saving his starting pitching. We haven't had, major injuries, right? I mean, you have Bryce Miller that came off of, in the beginning, but haven't had anything,
the only other, I guess, injury, if you will, has been Hancock getting hit in the hand with that ball when he was trying to grab it.
Yeah.
He left the game. He went, an inning and 2/3 or whatever he did. Right. But, I mean, as far as... Yeah, they've been knock on wood, been pretty healthy.
Yeah. And by the way, speaking of that, was it during the interview that we were doing? Did you the
kick save?
The kick that pops right into the pitcher's hand?
Yeah, from the Orioles. I couldn't remember who was on the mound, but it was a comebacker that hit the pitcher, kind of just put his heel out there and it clipped off his heel straight up into the air and into his mitt.
It was just perfect. It was like,
That's how he intended to do it. He practices that a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That and then, in that same year, same season, a couple of weird things to happen to pitchers. Remember when Logan had the one go through his buttons inside his jersey? That was the craziest thing ever.
Never have seen that.
Yeah, but that one was like tailor-made. It just popped right off his heel or whatever, and it was just like bloop.
I think it was his tribute to the World Cup. His homage, if you will. But I don't know. I'm just a 6-man rotation. You want these guys to go as long as they can because you don't have the numbers in the bullpen you otherwise would have. So
I know. I mean, again, disclaimer. I know Dan knows his pitchers and everything, but it's just something that I'm, because you don't see many pitcher. I mean, how many times have we had a pitcher go 7? I think we had one time, was it Kirby that went 8?
Kirby's gone a couple. He had a complete game.
Yeah. I mean, we just haven't seen our starting pitchers go deep, and especially, as you point out, in the 6-man rotation, you're down a bullpen arm. So I don't know. It just doesn't make sense.
And all the leverage arms had gone 2 days in a row. So it was Spire, Bizzardo, and Munoz. So what and it was 1-0 at the time. So you're like, really? Huh? You don't have your leverage guys. I guess you do. Maybe Bizzardo. He's the guy who seems like he's got a rubber arm. We've seen him go 3 days in a row, but it's not what you want to do if you can help it. If you got a starter that's rolling and their pitch count is in check, odd move at the time. But he was talking about again all the time off. So again, maybe it makes perfect sense behind the scenes, and it worked out. So all is well. If we were to reseed the rotation right now after 101 games, right, 1 through 6, as we sit right now, what would it look like for you?
Yeah, I guess I'm looking at yours. I know you have Kirby, Miller, Gilbert, Hancock, Wu, Castillo. I think Castillo is at the end. Wu, is it can't handle the road? Brian Wu.
Why do you hate him so much?
Well, I
can't handle the road.
I love him, but yeah, it's just just because I don't think it's a thing. No, don't write that, Lefko. Wyman hates Brian Wu. I don't hate Brian.
It says
Wu.
It's on the sheet. I don't there.
It's there on the sheet.
When it's on the internet, it's true.
No, but yeah, I think
that's the knock on Wu, because if we're just talking about who he is at home, it might be number one. The guy's ridiculous.
Right.
Home.
Well, and Logan's kind of fixed himself a little bit, but he used to have a problem being
at home. Road, he was dominant.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, right now, I still think Miller. I would go Miller, Kirby, Gilbert, then Wu, Hancock, Castillo.
Yeah. Text it in.
Yeah.
Text it in.
It's too many, first of all.
There should be only 5
there. Should be 5. It's easier.
Yeah. What order would you put those guys in right now as we sit right now based on what you've seen through 101 games? If you had to seed that rotation 1 through 6, who's your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Text that in 866-979-3776. Reminder, the Mariners' 50-season celebration weekend begins on August 7th. It's going to be such a cool weekend, and we want to send you and a friend to be part of the celebration. Now, you're going to get a chance to watch batting practice before the gates open. Then you're going to be able to stick around for the game and the Alumni Home Run Derby, which features Ichiro and Mike Cameron and, more importantly, Ryan Rowland-Smith. To enter, all you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app. Now, if you don't have the app, very easy. Just text the word app, APP, to 866-979-3776. We're going to send you a link to download it. It's completely free. You can enter every day to increase your chances to win. The contest runs through Monday, July 27th. That was the one thing we spoke with Ryan yesterday. We forgot to bring up the Home Run Derby. I wonder if he's been getting some cuts in, if he's been practicing, if he's going to, I don't know, maybe he's going to drive line. They're working on a swing. They're analyzing it.
Oh, it's a good thing you didn't talk to him about it, because I know your over-under for him is like a half. Is it?
I said 1.5.
Well, 1.5. Okay.
I don't. That's the other part, is I don't know how many pitches I don't know if there's a clock. I don't know if they're just, hey, you guys are each getting 10 cuts here, or how. I don't know the format.
Yeah, I'm going to say 4.5.
Ooh.
Yeah, is the over-under. And then that way, if, he gets mad at me, I was like, oh, well, I thought you meant, or if I'm wrong, I'll just say, well, I thought you meant that it was going to be like a 2-day-long tournament, like Home Run Derby.
Part one,
how many
one
hacks,
day, part two.
That's a great question, though. How many hacks does he get?
Yeah, we don't know. We're working blind here. We have no idea how many, what the format is, if it's a clock, if it's X amount of pitches, or what, I don't know. But, yeah, or if somebody was asking me, are they going to set up that makeshift fence, so it's closer,
like they do for softball players? Or
yeah, whatever? I don't think they're doing that. I wouldn't think they're doing
just
that.
for Ryan.
Just that would be funny.
They should make it one of those little fences that you use to keep little kids.
Yeah, it's like 2 feet high.
The yard.
He goes last. I go, all right, guys. Now we're bringing in the fence for the pitcher.
Yeah, we're going to put a pause on this, play some music while we set up the toy fence in the outfield for Ryan.
I like that one picture that they had where it looked like they photoshopped in this big, the huge arm.
They did. Yeah, that was not his arm.
That was good.
He was just Hulk. Had this massive, it looked like he had a leg hanging off of his shoulder. But, yeah, not knowing the format, he's a pitcher. So I'm just saying he gets the over-under is 1.5 for me.
All right. I just don't think, just because he's a pitcher doesn't mean he's not an athlete,
Yeah, but it doesn't. He can be an athlete. Look, I saw some athletes from the Seahawks out there swinging bats. Those are athletes, and they look like they had never held a bat. So it's, how much?
I don't get that. That's where I like the well-rounded athletes.
Yeah.
And I remember like Will Dissly used to be like a champion for that, play all different sports. I sucked at baseball, but I know how to swing. I know how to swing a bat. I know how to throw a baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's weird when you see like a professional athlete that can't do.
Well, it's like all the first pitches we've talked about where you see a bat. Who was the one we always talk about? Is it John Wall? Just
horrible.
The act of throwing looked so foreign to him. Like, so I just put this thing in my hand and I move my arm forward and let it go is what you're telling me? It looked like he was throwing with his off arm, like he's right-handed and he threw it left-handed or something. It just so bad. And that's a pro athlete.
Did you never throw like a baseball pass in basketball?
You got a full court pass. Yeah.
Just do that.
I don't.
And he didn't come close.
Maybe he should have tried to two-hand chest pass with the baseball from the mound. Just
so bad.
Yeah. So we'll see what Ryan does. I'm rooting for Ryan. I hope he goes over. I hope I can go to him and go, I underestimated you. You were cranking him out of there. But and he does have an advantage because he's left-handed. So he's got the short porch there in right field. So maybe that'll help him out. Meanwhile, the morning show has been apparently running with the idea of trying to trade for Mason Miller. How would you like Mason Miller in that bullpen?
That guy was unhittable at the point when we played him. Right?
Well, he's pretty much when anybody faces him. I mean, the guy is throwing 104, 103. I mean, he's throwing gas up there. He is unhittable. But
0.89 ERA.
Yeah, he's insanely good. And Jeff Passan was asked about this from Brock and Salk, asked whether a package of George Kirby and Michael Arroyo could get you Mason Miller in return.
Let's put it this way. It at least gets you in the conversation. But the problem comes down to this. If Mason Miller's out there, everybody is going to want him.
Right.
I mean, everybody. So what's going to wind up happening, I think, is even if you were to start at Miller and Arroyo, at Kirby and Arroyo, the Yankees might come in with more, and the Red Sox might come in with more. And I don't think the Dodgers are going to be involved in any sort of trade with the Padres that gives them an elite player of any manner or variety. But there are going to be so many teams that are interested that the price is just going to go up.
Now, Mason Miller is a beast. I'm not even debating how dominant that guy is. Yeah. But you're talking about giving up a premier starter. And Arroyo, I don't know what he's going to be. He's a highly rated prospect in your system. He could turn into a stud. He could be a bust or something in between. Who knows what he's going to be? But you're talking about doing that for a closer in that he's not pitching every night. He's not impacting you every night. He's how many? I mean, are we really? I would love to have him. Let me make that clear. Love to have him. But is that giving up too much? Is that getting a guy who every fifth day is more often than not giving you a chance to win a game versus a guy who's closing out a game? And it feels like Munoz has kind of righted the ship. He's not like he's been super problematic. He's been inconsistent. But he's a guy who's dominant, especially the last couple of times out there. He's looked unreal. Is he present enough? Are you relying on that closer spot so much that you feel like, man, it's cost us a number of games, and had we had Mason Miller in there, we'd be looking at a dramatically different record right now? Because to me, it's been much more about your offensive shortcomings and your offensive woes than, hey, our closer has blown games for us left and right.
Yeah, I kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday. I just don't think the pitching side of it enters into the conversation at all. Mason Miller obviously would be incredible to have. I mean, the guy hasn't given up an earned run since the 4th of July. And he's pitched, he's used very sparingly. Mostly it's, just one full inning. I don't think he's gone over an inning, 3 times, 4 times. So, I mean, he's awesome. I mean, he's unhittable, but if you're going to put any resources into a trade, we talked about it yesterday, the ridiculous numbers that the Mariner offense, they're basically they average number 28 in Major League Baseball out of 30 teams. Their on-base percentage, average, the slash line. It's crazy, ridiculous. So I don't know, as attractive as that sounds to me, I just think it's foolish to even think about pitching. You've got to get bats.
Yeah. Well, and they do need help in the bullpen. I mean, I'm not saying they certainly don't need help. They do. Now, that just to play the other side of it, if you were to get Miller, obviously he automatically becomes your closer.
Yeah.
And you look at Munoz going, okay, we just got ourselves another leverage arm in the bullpen. He's not your closer, but he now becomes another leverage arm. Brash isn't there. Hopefully when Brash gets back, then you've got Munoz and Brash and Bizzardo and Spire, you got 4 leverage arms, and then you've got an unhittable closer, Mason Miller. I mean, that looks like you turn it over to the bullpen, game over is how it feels. But does Munoz function in that role? That's the other part. People have talked about him being brought in when it's not a closing situation and how he doesn't perform as well. And is that something he could adjust to? I mean, that's kind of an unknown. If he's not your closer, how does he adjust to being, I don't know, your 8th inning guy or your 7th inning, however they choose to use him? Does he function as well in that role? Because, again, we've heard a million complaints about why are you putting him in a non-save situation. He doesn't do well there. That would be his role. Mason Miller becomes your closer immediately. Munoz becomes whatever he's going to be, 8th inning guy, bridge guy, whatever you have in mind for him. But it doesn't mean he automatically goes in there and dominates.
Yeah. Well, and then, Andres Munoz has had some problems this year. He's had a few times where he looked a little bit lost. So, yeah, I mean, I'm against putting any resources towards anything other than getting some offense in here. But, look, they could fix that if Cal's on the repair and, if you get Naylor back being more consistent and then get back Brendan Donovan, that's as good as probably any trade you can make. But so that's just a big question mark, though, right now. So I don't know. I would be surprised if they did anything as far as the pitching side goes, except maybe get one,
a leverage
arm.
Yeah. Passon agrees that the Mariners have enough prospect depth to get the trade done if they were to want to do that.
There are finite periods of time for any team to go out and take advantage of what you built. And even though the Mariners have been hovering around 500 all season long, and that there's a realistic scenario in which they don't make the playoffs, an untimely injury here or poor performances there, and suddenly this is just a wasted season. But I think likelier is that it has a chance to be a really special season. And that's something that when you have the organizational depth that the Mariners have built at this point, I don't mind chasing and I don't mind getting a little loose on.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun time leading up to the trade deadline. It's going to be exciting. It'll be stressful. You're going to watch. You'll see teams around you making moves, and I can see Mariner fans going, what are we doing? Look what the Rangers did. Look what the Astros did. Look what this team did. That seems to be the case every year. Last year was a surprise with Naylor and Gino Suarez at the time. We're going, wow, this seems out of character.
Yeah.
So do they do that again, or is the price too prohibitive because everybody feels like they're in it, so they don't want to part with anybody because they think, we're only 5 games out or whatever their case is. So the price has to be exorbitant. We're going to find out. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
If you're on the outside looking in, aren't you looking at this team, though, and going, man, all they need is a little bit of health and, the starting pitching, and they've got some decent pieces in the – why wouldn't you be the American League team to go for it? If other teams are looking at, or other fans looking at the Mariners, with all of those, I would think that there would be an expectation that they're going to do what they did last year. They took big swings, as you said.
This division is there to be had. You're sitting atop it right now, despite everything that hasn't gone right. You're in first place, so this is a season you really go for it because the path is easier than it's been in years past as it relates to the division.
American League, yeah.
Meanwhile, we have we've got the date of the first episode of Hard Knocks, but what will be the major storyline they focus on in that initial episode? We'll get into that coming up next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
Swung on and destroyed!
Was this the big night we've been waiting for from the Big Dumper?
Grand slam, Cal Raleigh!
Trying to build off of that and trying to get it rolling.
Back into sole possession of first place in the AL West. Tonight, the M's look to make it 4 straight wins in Game 2 against the Reds at T-Mobile. 6:40 first pitch, 5:30 pregame. Listen wherever you are on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, what if I told you a local credit union is giving members up to $30 per month just to make everyday purchases? It's Dave Wyman here, and when I heard about the offer from Harborstone Credit Union, I said, sign me up, and that's what I did at harborstone.com/cash. Now, you know I'm not a tech-savvy guy, but opening a checking account was easy enough for me to figure out. So you can definitely do it. I got my PNW Cashback checking account for free, no fees or minimums. And when I make everyday purchases with my Harborstone PNW Cashback debit card, I earn up to $30 each month. And that's really important to a lot of really hardworking people. My wife loves it when I get cash back on gas, groceries, coffee, travel, lunch. All categories count toward your cash back. And you can even tap to pay. I figured that out too. So if you live, work, or worship in the state of Washington, sign up for a membership with Harborstone Credit Union and get the PNW Cashback free checking account. Open your free account online, just like I did, at harborstone.com/cash, or you can visit one of their 29 branches across the Northwest. Insured by NCUA, terms and conditions apply.
Step inside and let the excitement take you places. This is Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the ultimate spot for action that reaches incredible heights, luxury that knows no bounds, and live entertainment that always thrills. It's all at one incredible destination. So when you look for the best, look nowhere else. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the biggest and best in the Northwest. Muckleshoot.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafy, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. At Pella Windows and Doors, we pride ourselves on delivering top-quality windows and doors that enhance the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Our products are built to last with innovative designs and exceptional craftsmanship. Whether you're looking to upgrade your windows or install new doors, Pella has you covered.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
This is Rick Jones of Goldberg Jones Divorce for Men. Child custody is the most emotional issue our clients face. And if you're a divorcing father, the relationship with your children is about to change. But that change doesn't have to be for the worse. Kids already feel the stress of parents who don't get along, but they can thrive after a divorce. Kids trust their dads. Their dads trust Goldberg Jones. Go to goldbergjones.com to get your questions answered at no charge. goldbergjones.com.
This summer, there are 250 reasons to join T-Mobile.
Girls trip? Booked. And switching to T-Mobile helped make it happen.
With Experience Beyond, switch and get $100 back. Plus, $650 in value in built-in plan benefits. That's $750 in your first year, guaranteed.
And honestly, that $100 back, I'm putting it towards the zip line.
Now that's how you do summer.
Exactly. Best switch I ever made.
This is just one reason to join T-Mobile this summer. There are 250 reasons. Find yours.
Savings based on the value of benefits included with Experience Beyond, like entertainment and 1 year of AAA Classic and Dash Pass on us. Benefits may require activation. See plan for details. Get $100 via virtual prepaid MasterCard with eligible ported, no cash access, and expires in 6 months. Issued by Sunrise Banks and a member FDIC. Allow 8 weeks.
Just 4 days
until training camp for the Super Bowl champs. And nobody has it covered like the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Jane is a small business owner.
That's right.
And tell them what that's like, Jane.
Yeah, well, it's like a roller coaster with a lot of ups and downs, and some days things can feel like they're flying off the rails.
Yep, it's a lot. But the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business can help you manage it all. With the largest, fastest fiber-powered network designed for 100% reliability with business internet and wireless connect. Plus gig speeds with security and equipment included. All with a 5-year price lock.
Nice. So everything stays on track.
Exactly. The Total Solutions Advantage. Get started for just $60 a month for 12 months when you add wireless connect to a qualifying internet package. No one does business like Comcast Business.
Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. New customers only. 1-year agreement, paperless billing, and automatic payments with bank account required. $60 offer requires 300 meg internet, security edge, and additional qualifying service. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Get away from it all and discover a place where good times are guaranteed. But I'm letting you know, at Silver Reef Casino Resort, you'll discover world-class dining at the steakhouse. Catch your favorite sports on wall-to-wall screens and sink into pure relaxation at the spa. Tee it up at Loomis Trail for championship caliber golf where there's water everywhere, so you better hit them straight. And you can hear your favorite musicians live at the event center. Visit silverreefcasino.com and book your stay today. That's silverreefcasino.com. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5, exit 260.
Les Schwab Tires has always believed that taking care of people is the right thing to do. Today, that means more than trusted service. It means delivering real value, too. That's why we're lowering prices on hundreds of tires without changing the service and expertise you've always counted on. Consumer Reports named Les Schwab the best tire retailer for 2026. We'll keep working every day to earn your trust. See leschwab.com for details.
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision RLE.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We got to plan the parking. We got to plan our parking.
Yeah,
for camp.
Training camp. That's the one downside. It's a beautiful facility the Seahawks have. The Virginia Mason Athletic Center is amazing. It couldn't be set in a better spot. It's right there on the water. The parking stinks.
You know what they need to do, and this is easy for me to just say, yeah, Seahawks, you need to do this. They need to build an upper deck.
Yeah.
Over that parking place there that they have. And it's a pretty big spot. I mean, there's a lot of slots there, but you start going through, and if you look at the Seahawks, if you go on their website, they've got maybe 250 employees that aren't coaches, scouts, and players.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a ton of people out there, and I feel sorry for them, too, because they're probably having to park off-site.
Well, now you got Hard Knocks coming to town, and I don't know how many people they bring to the facility every day, so they'll be obviously they're going to make them shuttle over there or anything, so they're going to get parking there. So we'll see what it looks like this year.
I know Mark Schlereth never seems to have an issue.
Well, he just rolls into town and gets whatever he wants.
Stink just gives him a heads up. I'm going to be in town, so respond accordingly.
Yeah.
And they put him up in a 4-star hotel, 5-star hotel. He gets upfront parking. He goes in, uses the weight room.
Yeah.
Goes up and eats in the cafeteria. Yeah, he's first class treatment. But Hard Knocks is going to be out there, and I can't wait to see it. I just. You and I have talked about it for years. I know coaches don't want to deal with it, and some players don't want to deal with it. I love that show so much.
They do a great job.
They do an amazing job. I mean, teams you never maybe even pay attention to unless you're a fantasy football person, but otherwise why would you watch the Dolphins or why would you watch Jacksonville or any, unless you're playing them, you're just kind of like, but they make every team compelling. They make all the storylines in my opinion, compelling, especially about guys that you don't really know. Very rarely is it focused on the stars of the team. Yeah, you're going to talk to the quarterback, you're going to talk to some of the stars, but the storylines often are about the guys who are at the end of the roster, who are just trying to fight for their career, trying to make the team in some way. And I love those.
Yeah, the one thing I hope they did, by the way, our guy Sean Wally, who sometimes fills in and produces for us, he's working for Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
So he's going to be one of those people out there taking up our parking spots.
Maybe he can get us a spot.
Yeah. But no, it's some of the other things, I thought for sure they would do this because Gray Zabel was talking about going home to his father's farm and, working and how, training camp's going to seem easy compared to that because it's really, hard work and everything. If I was Hard Knocks, I would have followed him out there and got some shots of him. I mean, he obviously have to have his permission, but I think that would be really cool to see him working on his farm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you want your offensive linemen doing in their off season, right?
Yeah, throwing bales of hay around. And
who's the guy again that was the farmer, the D tackle that we just brought his name up the other day? Big, huge dude.
Who was that, Lefko? Do you remember?
Al Woods?
Al Woods. There you go.
There you go. I don't know why we forgot his name again, but yeah, he used to work on a farm as well.
Yeah, he talked about getting up at the crack of dawn, him and his father getting out there and
4:30. Yeah.
Talk about country strong. I mean, he looked ridiculously strong anyway, but yeah.
But I thought that would have been a good line to, kind of follow him around out and see what he does. And just, here's a guy that's been making NIL money at North Dakota State, goes first round in the NFL, goes to the Super Bowl, and, just, God, was that his rookie year last year?
Yeah.
It's just hard to imagine. He just
him and Eamon Mori.
Yeah. It's
huge,
crazy.
Huge roles on a Super Bowl winning team. They both think, this pro stuff's easy. Won the Super Bowl first year. Let's just do it every year.
Yeah.
But outside of, I don't know how much they'll talk about Witherspoon's deal, if that's going to be a major storyline or not. I think if you know anything about the team, I think you definitely want to get Witherspoon on camera and talk to him just because he's wildly entertaining and energetic and all of that. But I wonder who I got to believe they'll want to focus on the redemption story of Sam Darnold, right? That's a compelling storyline. If you're not a Seahawks fan and you're not that dialed into every member of the team, just his road, into the NFL and how he was considered a bust and he was with the Jets and it just did not work at all. And then he was relegated to being a backup and he's in Carolina and then he's with San Francisco and he's just this guy on a roster and then gets that shot with the Vikings and parlays that into a 3-year deal with the Seahawks and boom, wins a Super Bowl his first year here.
Yeah, well, and I'll tell you what, probably you can piggyback the relationship with him and Ernest Jones as well because, we had Jen Mueller on last week, and she was saying, what's the name of the show that they're doing, Mike, once again?
Making of a Champion.
Making of a Champion, yeah, her and John Boyle, and how, Darnold said that Ernest Jones never really talked to him about that since then, since he gave that awesome clip that we've played a million times. And then, Ernest Jones kind of getting disrespected as far as not being in the top 15, 14 off-the-ball linebackers in the NFL. That man got 6 interceptions. I've been shorting him and saying 5. He had 1 in the playoffs. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think that would be a great story in sort of their relationship. And, remember the T-shirt at the parade and everything. So, yeah, I would think not only just Sam Darnold, but then also just a defense that supports him. And, they're like, hey, he's our guy. And if you don't like him, too bad. So, yeah, I think that would be a kind of piggyback onto, Sam Darnold, because I think you're right. Sam's a great story.
Yeah, he's a great redemption story. Everybody loves a story like that of a guy who seems, by all accounts, to be an extremely good person, good guy. It feels like a made-up storyline. Comes in highly touted, kind of falls on his face, relegated to being a backup, and then, 7 years down the road, he's a Super Bowl champion. You're like, whoa. Right. So, yeah, I think that's a great storyline. We'll see if they focus on that.
Well, and then, Ernest Jones, the other thing with him, he lost his father during the season, which he was hugely important to him. And I know that, Schneider also lost his father, and he knows what that's all about. So, yeah, I think that, wrap all of the, those two players together, and that would be a huge story. I think it was Bumpet Stacy talking about Leonard Williams and what a interesting guy he is.
Yeah. I wonder if the rookie Bud Clark, is he going to be a guy that they talk to very much? Or I'm wondering is there like a prominent position battle? I mean, I know that we're sorting out the running back room, but I don't know. Is there maybe it's right guard? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out from their perspective, like what would be intriguing to them, a position battle, or I just tend to believe they sort of default to the guys that you're not as familiar with that are just trying to make the team.
Yeah.
And seeing them talk to their parents on the phone or their wife or girlfriend on the phone and, practice was brutal today and I'm getting cut, or things were great. And they always highlight them in the preseason games when they finally get an opportunity to play in the game, and they make a great play or they miss a tackle and they think that's it, it's over. And yeah, it's just the drama of just trying to keep your career going is a storyline that to me doesn't get old, and it's going to be even more intriguing since we're so dialed into this particular team.
Yeah, well, and the rookies might play into it because I know my rookie year there was lots of drama. I mean, I got drafted here to replace Keith Butler, and I was a second rounder, and then all of a sudden they get Brian Bosworth in the supplemental draft, and then I hurt my shoulder, and then they make him and I roommates during camp when he was kind of my nemesis. I mean, I think almost every year there's some kind of drama that they can play up, and they seem to always pick really interesting. You know, the focal point is always really interesting.
Yeah, looking forward to that. I can't wait for that. Meanwhile, we've identified the saddest team in the NFL. You're going to hear about that when we sweep the dial. Coming up with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
Jeff Passan, every Tuesday morning at 8:30 with Brock and Salk.
The problem that I'm seeing right now, Brock, is the absolute mediocrity of the American League has a chance to completely upend our expectations of what a trade deadline looks like. That because the standings are so flat in the American League, this could be a molasses slow deadline.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
Are you somebody that's just done with carrying readers around with you? You need them in restaurants and stores to be able to read menus and labels and whatnot. I had them in every room of my home. I needed them just to read texts on my phone, and I was just done with it, so I had to take action. I went to K2 Vision RLE for a refractive lens exchange, and it is a bright new world for me. The readers are all in drawers. That's where they stay. When you add King LASIK and K2 Vision together, you get Freedom Vision for every stage of life. LASIK and EVO ICL from King LASIK gives you freedom from glasses and contacts, and refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE adds extra freedom from readers and cataracts. So again, if you're like me and you're just done having to have a pair of reading glasses with you at all times, K2 Vision RLE could be your perfect and permanent solution, and the best part is you'll never develop a cataract. With over 400,000 procedures, Doctors Kopstein and King are two of the most experienced vision correction surgeons in America. So whether it's LASIK, EVO ICL, or RLE, trust the most experienced team of doctors out there with all of the data to recommend the very best procedure for you. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today. Go to k2visionrle.com. King LASIK and K2 Vision RLE, no glasses, contacts, readers, or cataracts. That's k2visionrle.com.
In 2026, Bay Alarm celebrates 80 years of security. With burglar and fire alarm systems, 24/7 in-house monitoring, and local service, our promise to the Puget Sound remains the same. We got you. Learn more at bayalarm.com.
An old electrical panel is like a tired bullpen. Fine until you really need it. Dave Wyman here for Fast Home Services. They have your back with panel and service upgrades starting at $4,800. Get more capacity for additions like hot tubs, generators, and EV chargers from the Seattle team that's earned your trust since 1986. Call 1-800-THINK-FAST to book your free in-home estimate or visit fasthomeservices.com for a virtual quote in seconds for water heaters, plumbing, HVAC, and electrical services.
Hey, when was the last time you inspected your crawl space or your attic? What's the last time you went in there just to see what kind of shape they're in? Oh, never? Yeah, same. I don't want to go in there. Most homeowners completely avoid those areas, but it is important to check on them regularly. It's why you call Crawl Pros. They'll come out and go where you don't want to. Hey, it's Mike Salk here. And yes, when Crawl Pros came out to my place, they realized we had a little problem with our insulation. So they've set about fixing it, and they did a great job. But if you've got the same problem, they'll also look to see what kind of energy rebates are available. Right now, local utility companies are incentivizing homeowners to make their home more energy efficient with proper insulation. And some homes qualify for several $1,000s in savings with these utility rebate programs. So don't just assume your crawl space and attic are in great condition. Do what I did. Call Crawl Pros today and schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection and find out if you've got water intrusion, mold, rodent issues, or even damaged insulation. Schedule your crawl space and attic inspection at crawlpros.com.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
At Farmers, our honesty is contagious.
Wait,
Am I going to catch honesty?
Well, when you're with farmers, it's kind of inevitable.
Well, how long does it take to... I lied to you when you asked if I knew what a deductible was. I don't know my dad's birthday, and I thought umbrella policies were for rainstorms. Actual rainstorms. I have it, don't I?
You don't just have honesty.
You have Farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Learn more at farmers.com. Underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or Affiliate. Products not available in every state.
Mariners and Reds tonight at T-Mobile. First pitch at 6:40, 5:30 pregame. Get every pitch of every game for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
When you see this in your kitchen,
The stainless steel fridge is covered in fingerprints.
you hear this.
Leslie, people are going to think you were raised in a barn or by wolves or raised in a barn by wolves.
Fortunately, Wyman Stainless Steel 3-in-1 cleans, shines, and protects to give you the best shine. A spray and a wipe will have your fridge shining like a mirror.
Wow, my fridge looks brand new. Your fridge looks amazing, Leslie. Sorry, I was being a little dramatic earlier.
Your kitchen says a lot about you. Let it brag with Wyman.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
Well, we just got a lineup about 20 minutes ago before we get into this. No Julio and no JP Crawford.
Oh, boy.
So we can discuss that with Charlie, but...
a tough pitching matchup.
Not good for the Mariners there. Yeah, we can talk about that when Charlie Furbush gets here at 4 o'clock. But last night, certainly the headlining move of the day was Cal Raleigh. Bases loaded, and Dominic Canzone's intentionally walked before Cal Raleigh. So the bases are loaded for Cal, and Dan Wilson afterwards kind of expressed his surprise, I guess, that the Reds chose to do that.
It was an interesting situation. I'm not sure I saw that coming, but probably looking to get the double play there or set up the double play at least. Cal just, I thought that was just a great swing, a real easy swing, and it looked like he just found all barrel on that one and really crushed it. So, again, a big moment in the game there. Kind of that was the moment that busted it open, and really, really happy for Cal that was the moment tonight.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. It didn't work out. Pitcher didn't execute. Just a breaking ball floats over the middle of the plate. It's just a cookie for Cal. And the first pitch, he did catch all barrel and just crush that ball. And you look at the numbers. You look at who both guys have been. We talked about it, an over 900 OPS for Dom Canzone versus lefties versus Cal. Just dreadful against lefties, striking out almost 35% of the time. It was the right decision. It just didn't. Your pitcher didn't execute. Ball leaks out over the plate, and he made him pay.
Well, it's kind of like a kind of cool little microcosm there of that. That's kind of what managers do. That's why they're there, right? And they know all the numbers and the tendencies and everything. I mean, it looked stupid at the time, but then you go back and look at the numbers, and you'd be stupid to not do that.
Yeah.
Sweeping the dial.
Oh, to be the Arizona Cardinals, mired in a contract dispute with what is their starting quarterback, Jacoby Brissett. And Ian Rappaport was outlining the current state of where contract talks stand between the two sides.
The Arizona Cardinals do not have their starting quarterback under a contract that he would want to play under. Jacoby Brissett has been, over the course of the last several months, embroiled in contract negotiations with the team, trying to get a little more money considering he is going into the season as the starter. Certainly some drama there, because if he is not there to take the first team reps, is Carson Beck someone who could possibly challenge him, and how much do those reps help?
Carson Beck,
kind of interesting. You look at Jacoby Brissett and going in, that's your starter. They didn't win a game in the NFC West last year, and lots of pressure. I mean, he's a good quarterback. I thought he was better than Kyler Murray. So
you're not setting the bar very high.
No, we're not. But it's gonna be interesting to not only see how that plays out, but then also Kyler Murray in Minnesota with JJ McCarthy there. That's going to be kind of interesting. I'm just glad we don't have those problems here.
Yeah, Brissett's interesting because he's been a perennial backup throughout his career. I mean, he's played for the Patriots, the Colts, the Dolphins, the Browns, Commanders, the Patriots last year. So he hasn't really stuck anywhere. He's just been that journeyman. He's 33 years old, going to be 34 this year. If you're the Cardinals, he's your stopgap. He's not your future. At least I would imagine that's how they view him. That's why they drafted Carson Beck. So how aggressive are they going to be in paying him? Yeah, I don't know what they've offered. I haven't read that versus what it is he expects to receive. But yeah, I don't know. I bet he's looking at this as his last chance to really cash in. So obviously trying to make it count, but I don't know. They're just such a bad organization. I don't think it matters whether he's the starter or not. They're not going to be great
in every way. And even their release video was, for their schedule, was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And they just make bad decisions there. But you look at Jacoby Brissett, 65 starts in the NFL. He's 20-45 is his record. So that's what you're going into. I don't imagine that there's a whole lot of enthusiasm about that starting position there at quarterback with Arizona Cardinal fans, which, they don't have very many fans there.
Yeah. Sweeping the dial.
Well, the state of college sports have kind of been in flux, especially when it comes to the football side, where two conferences make much more money than anyone else. And SEC football media days are currently happening. Yesterday, SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey discussed that their league, their conference, is kind of exploring whether or not to try to break away from the NCAA.
So they're real. People have talked about that. They've opined about the frustrations that bring them to the point of saying we should look at something significantly different. I do not believe that is a leverage point. I think that's just honest communication.
Dave, do you find yourself opining? Does that ever happen? You a good opiner?
No, I don't opine.
Are you one to opine?
No,
I'm
I'm not.
I don't. At this point, what does the NCAA even represent? What is it that they do? What is it you say you do there? This college sports and the NIL and the power or lack thereof of the NCAA. It feels like it's just the Wild West, and I really don't know. Being honest, not even hyperbole. What is their role? What is it that they actually provide? What do they do?
Yeah, they don't seem to have any power at all. So yeah, I mean, it's really interesting to see what's going on with college football. And Indiana was a great story. I mean, considering, Mike, you know this better than anybody, that football franchise was just horrible up until last couple of years, right?
Yeah, Big Ten money, SEC money. I mean, you don't need to be in the same kind of conference or league as someone in this newly constructed Pac-12 or even the ACC. They've lagged behind. So, yeah, maybe those two explore. And who knows what it means, though, for the rest of college football. Kind of a tough scene right now.
It is. I mean, it just seems to be a bit of a mess. It's kind of everything seems up in the air, and you got teams looking at conferences, looking to leave this, and the restructuring of all the Power Five, and trying to figure out who's where, and even with which team is in which conference, and which player is on which team. All of that has become so much harder than it ever was with the transfer portal. College sports are just odd now. It's just, it's so far removed from what it once was, where you followed a team, you followed a player through their journey as a freshman, a sophomore, junior, maybe they stayed their whole career there, but you'd follow them through their journey with that team that was in that conference. And now it's just like, wait, oh, that's right, this team's now in the Big 12, or no, this team's now in the reformed Pac-12, and that player used to play here, but now he's there.
Yeah, well, and especially in basketball, you look at, I remember I always told this story about Duke and how I remember when Bobby Hurley was a freshman, I'm thinking, oh man, I can't wait till Grant Hill's a sophomore, and when he's a senior and Bobby's a junior and this and that. I mean, yeah, it's almost, you got like a full, like different starting 4 or 5 sometimes every year.
Yeah. All right, coming up, Charlie Furbush will join us for the next hour, as he does each and every week. We got plenty of Mariners questions for him. That is coming your way next with Wyman and Bob. It's Seattle Sports on 710.
Swung on and destroyed! Was this the big night we've been waiting for from the Big Dumper?
Grand Slam, Cal Raleigh!
Trying to build off of that and trying to get it rolling.
Back into sole possession of first place in the AL West. Tonight, the M's look to make it 4 straight wins in Game 2 against the Reds at T-Mobile. 6:40 first pitch, 5:30 pregame. Listen wherever you are on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, it's summertime, and if you're like me, you're spending nights on the patio listening to the game, enjoying what makes our area so beautiful. It's Dave Wyman here, and I have just the offer for you to get the most out of your outdoor living space. $500 off each window, $750 off patio and entry doors, and $200 off the final project. And I've loved working with Harley Exteriors. They're a local company right here in Bothell, down-to-earth people who enjoy the same things we all do, rooting on our local teams and doing the best job we possibly can day in and day out. So use Harley Exteriors to complete your home space and receive 12 or 18-month promotional financing. You can get a hold of them by calling 833-HARLEY, that's HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Qualified buyers only. Subject to credit approval and lender terms. Minimum purchase of 4 qualifying windows required. Windows must be 36 by 36 inches or larger. No size minimum on patio or entry doors. Financing subject to approved credit. Offers cannot be combined with other promotions. Offer expires July 31st, 2026.
Usually when something sounds way too good to be true, it is. Imagine someone says you can cut your mobile bill in half. Sounds like a fantasy, but with Xfinity Mobile, it's the real deal. Because when you have Xfinity Internet, you can cut your mobile bill in half, plus try Xfinity Mobile free for a year, no commitment. That's a lot of streaming, sharing, scrolling, and whatever else you can do with your phone, all for half the price and none of the commitment. That means you'll save big over Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. Wild. Now all you have to do is think about how you'll spend all that extra money. Call 1-800-XFINITY, go to XfinityMobile.com, or visit your local Xfinity store to switch today. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Savings compared to one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only after 12 months. Regular rates do apply. So make the call today. 1-800-XFINITY.
How would you like to invest in the Seattle real estate market, one of the hottest and most stable regions in the country, and achieve a great rate of return on your investment without the effort of sourcing a deal, the expense and time of building permits, or all the hassles that come with being a landlord? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with 0 investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Invest in the stability and ease of Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund. Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
Bigger food needs call for even bigger savings. Get more at Chef Store for your restaurant, food truck, or event with warehouse savings on food service essentials and grilling favorites. Plus, we're open to the public, no membership required. Visit Chef Store today.
Trust is everything. Earning it
takes years. Losing it takes 5 seconds.
Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners hammer the Reds last night in the opener of the 3-game series. They look to win the series tonight when they send Luis Castillo to the hill to face his former team. It's going to be a tough pitching matchup tonight. Chase Burns going for the Reds. He's 11-1 on the season with a 2.54 ERA. Talk about what the lineup looks like for the Mariners, but you can catch all of the action of that one starting at 5:30 with a pregame show. 6:40 first pitch right here, Seattle Sports on 710. Meanwhile, games being impacted by weather around the country. New York hosting the Pirates. That game has been postponed. The makeup date will be July 22nd, which is tomorrow. Also true in Boston. Boston scheduled to host the Orioles. That one has been postponed. That will be made up tomorrow as well. Games going on right now. They're actually in a rain delay now in Philadelphia. Dodgers and the Phillies in the top of the first being delayed by rain. Headed to the bottom of the second in Cleveland. The Twins are up on the Guardians 1-0.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
We'll be catching up with Charlie Furbush for his weekly appearance. Apparently he's stuck in traffic, which is weird. Seattle doesn't have any traffic. I think he's lying.
Charlie, you get your tail in here ASAP.
He overslept.
I'm getting live updates.
He's one of our listeners that gets up in the middle of the afternoon. He's just right now just wiping the sleep away from his eyes, brushing his teeth. What time is it? Guess I got to go talk to these guys.
You know, that's a bad feeling. One time I had to host the morning show. This was like 10, 12 years ago. And I slept in. And so I'm like, I can make it. And I'm like on the 520 bridge, and I was doing the show with Jim.
Yeah.
And so, of course, he was pretty much did the entire opening 10 minutes about how irresponsible I am.
What?
Not
That doesn't
being
sound like
there. And yeah,
He would never do that.
It was funny, but it was also like one of those feelings where you're like, oh man, this is bad. So I feel sorry for Charlie right now.
Yeah. Well, what we're anxiously awaiting his arrival, as is every single listener within earshot of us, and he's become a wild disappointment to them all. So we eagerly anticipate
We're going to put
his
up
arrival.
a live tracker, actually, a dot.
Can we just put up a picture of him right here, and we'll just fire questions at it?
I think he's going to turn around and go home now.
That's the best part, right? You can hear everyone talk about why you're not here.
That's right. He's listening to this on the way in.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, text line is there for you. Hopefully he'll be here shortly. But text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. People weighing in on the Mariners, weighing in on the Seahawks, Hard Knocks. We had this one text here. This person, Dave, said, the 253 said, even as a Hawks fan, I won't watch a second of Hard Knocks, and I hope the ratings tank. That's a self-professed Hawks fan, and I wrote back, why? And they just said, fiercely opposed to any and all reality TV. Reality TV is why there's nothing worth watching on TV, and now it's clogging up my streaming services too, though from the previews, it looks like they are keeping a lot of plastic surgeons employed. I think he's talking maybe about just reality TV in general. Not, I can't imagine he's talking about the Seahawks.
Well, I know that I'm scheduled for plastic surgery just in case they catch me on film.
That's right. You can do a little Botox. Knocks. You can do a little tightening up.
There's a lot that needs to be done. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are probably thinking it's a distraction, whatever. It'll be interesting to hear, some of the comments maybe from Mike McDonald, just because, and our guy Sean Wally, he's been sending me pictures of like how they're putting they're putting cameras in almost every position room.
Yeah.
I think all of them. And then because you look back on that show and you think about, they show like guys in meetings and stuff like that. And so, and I know that Mike is very, he's kind of high security guy, doesn't want anyone talking about, what they're doing, what they're thinking defensively and all that. So, yeah, it's just I'm sure, an added distraction that's not welcome.
And none of that ever comes out. We're not getting game plans, or this is how this team's going to handle the run this year. This is their passing attack. I mean, none of that stuff is ever divulged. It's pretty limited to storylines about the individuals.
I wonder, though, about some of the things that they don't want on there, and like, what's the deal? Did they get a chance to go back and say, hey, we want a full recap of what you're going to show and what you're going to talk about?
I'm guessing they've got first say, like, no, you can't let that out there. No, you can kind of see what we're doing here. I'm guessing that's because it never is. I mean, you watch, there's very little discussion. It's a lot of, even when the coaches are talking, they're about like, where were you on this play? You got to be here, you got to be there. But there's no scheme being exposed, or here's how we're going to handle this when this happens in the regular season. So I don't think any secrets are ever happening or ever leaked out there.
I had a really odd one-time conversation with Tom Catlin, who I respected him so much. And I kind of was pissed, and I was getting bad information, and Tom and I kind of went back and forth, and and I would never want that to get out there, because I went to Tom later on and said, hey, I apologize. And I got up in front of the team and said, you shouldn't disrespect. I don't want the younger guys to think that this is how you should act and blah, blah, blah. But we kind of got into it. But sometimes, tempers flare, whatever, during camp, especially you're tired, you're beat up, it's hot. And so, I wonder if there is what the sort of protocol is on what they can edit and what they can choose.
I'm guessing it's I don't know. Maybe our guy Sean could tell us, but I think they probably get a lot of leeway in saying yes, no, yes, no. Joe in Bellevue said, Charlie is a wild disappointment to all of your listeners. That's why he fits perfectly with the Wyman and Bob Show.
I see what he did there. Okay.
Squeezing in a little mean text.
Nice.
There you go. Somebody else said, that's a bold assumption, assuming that your listeners brush their teeth. And then they followed up with, or that they have teeth. That's the 215. That's Pennsylvania checking in.
Yeah.
How about that? Taking a wild swipe at all of our listeners right there. And then
Jeff in San Diego, the hit or miss guy. Hey, Stelton, you stuck.
See, it's a big miss. He tries. I give him an A for effort, F for execution.
Yeah.
But keep trying. Charlie will be here shortly. But we asked earlier about the rotation. Like, if you were to set that rotation starting today after 101 games being played, based on how they've been this season, not historically, just who they are right now, how would you set your rotation 1 through 6? essentially, because we got 6 starters, Dave, still.
Yep.
And I imagine that changes after the trade deadline. But we'll see. We'll see. But a lot of them still have Logan going number 1, 360. Logan, Bryce, Kirby, Emerson, Wu, Castillo. That's the one thing that was consistent is Castillo's always, and then some didn't even list him. 206, 1, Logan, Kirby, Miller. They wrote Herbie, and then Wu. I think maybe they meant Hancock, but yeah.
Well, and I think you and I just had a couple that were switched. So I had Miller, Kirby, Gilbert, Wu, Hancock, Castillo, and you had Kirby, Miller, Gilbert, Hancock, Wu, Castillo, and then Furbush. I think you had written in there as well.
I did, but then I took him out because he was late. So I was really excited about his spot in that rotation, but once he just kind of got lazy with us and everything and showed how much he didn't care about the show, we just removed him.
Why do you hate us, Charlie?
Charlie Furbush is in studio with us. Fans, how are you, man? Were you listening to us on the way in talking about you?
Of course I was. It was great.
Was it stressing you out?
I mean, the traffic it's nuts out there right now.
Is it?
And I was warned from Lefko, hey, there's some construction in the building in front, so get there early. So I decided to leave 40 minutes early.
And still late.
Still not good enough.
Yeah.
It's not good enough.
Unbelievable.
So I apologize, listeners. I apologize to you both. I'm glad to be here. I will gladly redeem myself.
Problem is, you just forced Dave and I to talk to each other, and that's nobody wins then.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
and Lefko too.
We're not used to that.
Yeah, we're not used to speaking to each other. But no, good to have you in, and obviously there's a lot to get into as we approach this trade deadline. But want to get your thoughts on George Kirby, because we haven't talked a ton about him. We talked about the rotation as a whole and all of that, but last night is 6th consecutive quality start, and he does that last night in 80 pitches. And everybody on social media was, what are they doing pulling him after 80 pitches? And Dan said after the game, hey, it's been a while since he pitched. So maybe that endurance isn't there or whatever. I don't know. But what's your feeling about what you've seen from him? Because he's been part of some like trade proposals, like sort of fantasy proposals out there from that. We just talked to Jim Bowden, who proposed trading him, and you get a reliever in exchange and a right-handed hitter in exchange. Where are you at with George Kirby these days?
Dude's on a roll right now. I mean, he's looking sharp, and I think that's where you want Kirby to be. And when he's his best, he's pitching how he pitched last night. So, it's I think he's been on quite a journey in his career in a lot of ways, and I think he's seen some ups and downs, but it finally feels like he is in that place where he can fire all of his pitches whenever he needs to. So, I'm certainly interested to see the momentum that's continuing to be built after the start. I think that's, you come out of the break and you just don't want to go all, to the max and say, hey, here's 110 pitches. Let's ease into it, and let's also build confidence, right? You want to build into the next start. So
you were okay with them being pulled after 80, even though they were only up 1-0 at that point. You didn't have your leverage arms.
No, I think just from where he's at and what you see and how you can manage the game, I'm okay with that first start out of the All-Star break. And I think when you look at continuing to add value to your team and keep your guys healthy, I think it's the right call.
Yeah, are you pretty critical of that? Because usually it's afterwards, and I'm like, okay, yeah, he did a great job. They pulled him fine, and then I look and go, it seems like he had a little more in the tank. Do you think Dan is typically in line with the way you think as far as how many pitches, how many innings a guy can go?
I would say for the most part. I think when we look at it just from, I think, getting greedy, you just want to see your guys go out there for as long as they can, right? But I think the best managers know how to manage these situations and know that it's not just all about tonight. It's about what's going on in the next week and how you can set yourself up for success. So you want to get your guys to stay on a roll and continue to build start after start after start, and you start adding those up. I mean, just look how remarkable Brian Wu was last year, right? If there's just something where Kirby can continue to build momentum and have really strong outings after really strong outing, he becomes an incredible, valuable piece of this rotation, which he already is, right? It just continues to, hammer that down. So, yeah, it's an interesting thing when you play 162 games and the decisions you make. And sometimes you look back and you go, well, maybe we should have left him in, and, maybe we should have brought the reliever in sooner. I think you learn a lot, and I think that's what, over the course of, Dan's career, he's learned how to handle these things, good and bad. And you take it all and you try to move forward and continue with your process. So I think he's trying to do the best he can, but at the end of the day, you can't fault him because it worked out.
Do you get the sense we're going to be done talking about the six-man and or piggyback after the trade deadline? That's kind of they haven't said anything, but the idea that they're going to keep this going through the remainder of the season, 61 more games, it feels like that's not reality. Pitchers have made it clear, some more than others, that they don't love it. So it feels like the trade deadline, they're just kind of giving themselves the ability to, maybe they move somebody, what have you. But do you think that's where it ends, or do you think there's a possibility this is the way they roll through the rest of the season? Well, you never say never. I guess there is a small possibility that it could be the same situation you're in if there's no return on a value, right? Like if you're trying to get a trade and remove one of these guys and bring someone back in, if you don't see the value and the return on your investment, then, maybe you sit back and you say, well, we're going to look at it, doing it differently, and maybe still keep this as part of our situation and try and continue to pitch our way into these games. And I think, these pitchers across the board, and especially if you look at the bullpen, there's a lot of really, really good arms. So how do you manage that? And, my gut says, though, that it is going to be a five-man rotation. I think it's just going to be easier to manage, even more so once you get into, playoff baseball, right? So that's where maybe now that you've seen this and it's kind of played out for a little while, how do you make a move? Is there a move to be made? And does that involve one of your starting pitching depth pieces? I don't know. Obviously, the Mariners have a great farm system, and there's plenty of talent there. So there's probably a move to be made for a player that can help your roster now. And, I bet Jerry and Justin are doing everything in their power to figure that out so they can put the team, their best team forward come August 3rd, so they give themselves a chance to go win a World Series.
Yeah. What was your reaction to the Cal grand slam last night? There was something about the way he ran around the bases, and he did the same thing that he always did. It didn't look like, what a relief. He just had the normal, and he's always pretty, is pretty reserved as far as his personality. But could that mean something? Could that be the point where he gets his confidence back?
Yeah, anytime you have a big moment, you hit a big grand slam, they're always memorable. Like, hitters will always remember the time they hit a granny, right? It's awesome. But if you dig a little deeper and you listen to what Cal had to say in the postgame and just, kind of everything he's been through and how much of a grind it's been, and he's been continuing to work at it and rely on his teammates and know that it's going to come, right? Hits are going to show up, and, you could just continue to believe in yourself. So I think there's a lot of little things that are happening, and he's even saying, even the team's playing better. We're doing the little things better. We're going to continue to, do all these things. And at the end of the day, if you take care of the small things, hopefully the big things work out. So there's a lot of things that I heard that just tells me he's still as confident as ever. It's just a matter of finding a little more consistency running into the baseball.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the offense and who's doing what, who's working, who's not working out right now. I just want to bring you back to Kirby for a moment because he came up in a trade proposal. We just talked with Jim Bowden, who put it out there, wrote an article in The Athletic about it, and talked about why he came up with the idea of trading Kirby in order to make the Mariners significantly better this year.
Jerry DiPoto, the president of the Mariners, came on my MLB Network radio show and said that he would like to get a right-hand hitter because they really struggle against left-hand pitching, and he said he'd like to get another high-leverage reliever. So I just kind of looked through the 29 other teams to try to figure out a way, how can I get the Mariners a right-handed bat that the Phillies and other teams have been trying to get that just aren't out there, and get the reliever that he wants. And so then I kind of landed on, well, the Giants do have Casey Schmidt, who's got 19 homers on his way to 25 to 30. Eric Miller, last 8 appearances, hadn't given up a run. He doesn't walk anybody. He punches everybody out. And I'm thinking, okay, well, if you take Schmidt and you take Miller and you put them on the Mariners, that solves the 2 big needs you say you need. And so maybe you make a bad trade and you win the World Series, and it was worth it.
So you hear him call it a bad trade there. Right. And he talked about Francona, I think, at one point referencing losing a trade in order to get to the World Series. Just before you respond, I want to play his thought on that. Explains why the Giants would, in his opinion, win that trade if that were to happen, but why it turns the Mariners into a team that can win the World Series.
I think the Giants win the trade, and I think the Mariners team is better. That's where the balance is. You got Kate Anderson sitting in the minors that I think can do what Kirby's doing. So it's replaceable. So if I added Kate Anderson and Schmidt's 25 to 30 homers and Miller's impact in the back of the bullpen, does that give me a better chance to win this year? I think so. Yeah, I think so. That's kind of how I looked at it. But yes, it's giving up too much for me. I'd like to keep all the pitching. It's so hard to get. Yeah. That would be my preference. But I was trying to find a way to satisfy what Jerry's trying to do. And it's not easy in this marketplace right now to get a right-hand hitter. You can get a reliever, but it's hard to get that right-hand hitter with power.
So what would you think about that? Presumably looking at a trade he calls a win for the Giants. Mariners lose that trade based on exchange of talent, but for the immediate future, you're a World Series contender with those two. Would you make that move?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the wording is a little weird for me, being like, I guess depending on who's involved, essentially it's a win-win, right? In the sense that if you're getting guys that are going to help you win the World Series, isn't that a win?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So where's the I mean,
I guess the loss is he's looking at Kirby maybe as a potential Cy Young candidate year in, year out for another team. And
isn't winning a World Series for the first time a bigger win than that?
I would say so, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's you have to look at it as like you're going to win no matter what because you're going to try and acquire somebody. I think the loss is maybe any sort of rankings, right? If you involve prospects and just maybe how maybe the starting pitching depth ranking takes a hit, but guess what? Your offense gets boosted, so it kind of offsets, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think, I don't know if that's the trade I would make per se, but I look at it more like at the end of the day, the way he's describing it is a win for the Mariners, right?
If it results in a World Series,
yeah. You lose years of control with Kirby or potentially signing him and the greatness that he could become. But if a Schmidt, I don't know why you'd throw in another lefty. I mean, I really like the Ferrer-Spire combo. I think I'd rather have another high-leverage reliever that's right-handed that would replace potentially Brash, not having to, run all the force of that eighth inning, if you will. So I don't know if I like the lefty play, right? Like, I don't know if that is valuable. It's just throwing the guy in there. So I think there's other ways to, look for, talent. And I wouldn't imagine, or I wouldn't be surprised even if they're, given the state of baseball and how seller versus buyer, and we're still waiting to see what's going to happen, it feels as if there could even be like this like multi-team trade that's going to happen, right? Where you get this, we get that, and then we send some prospects and some draft picks over there, and everyone's kind of happy, right? So, and it may take a couple more days to kind of see where teams are at. And, you look at even like a team like the Blue Jays, right? Like, where are they? They're not good in the American League, but are they going to sell?
Last place.
Right. Are they going to, you look at other teams where do they just figure out different ways to, handle the deadline? Does that open up other opportunities and other phone calls? And before you know it, you have yourself exactly what you want. And if it takes starting pitching depth away, then so be it. But at the end of the day, as everyone knows, you play to win the game, and you're trying to win as many games as you can to get to the playoffs and ultimately win the World Series.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who the actual sellers are going to be. And he talked about he's talking to all 30 teams. He's talking to the front office of all these teams, and that a lot of them are saying, we're going to see where we're at after the weekend. All right, there's a feeling right now, but maybe I think the run that the Red Sox have been on has maybe changed the mind of a lot of teams that are like, maybe they're 5 games out, the record doesn't look good, we're in third place, fourth place, whatever, but they're going, hey, we're as good as that team. We got as much talent as they do. Look what they just did. So I don't know, but he made it sound like the kind of cutoff for a lot of the teams based on his conversations would be through the weekend. So maybe maybe the sellers will be easier to identify.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. All right, Charlie Furbush in studio with us for the hour. We're going to talk about this Mariner team, and one aspect of the Mariners season continues to pop up at the worst times, and it has reemerged again. We'll get into that coming up next with Wyman and Bob. It's Seattle Sports on 710.
Swung on and destroyed. Was this the big night we've been waiting for from the Big Dumper?
Grand slam, Cal Raleigh!
Trying to build off of that and trying to get it wrong.
Back into sole possession of first place in the AL West. Tonight, the M's look to make it 4 straight wins in Game 2 against the Reds at T-Mobile. 6:40 first pitch, 5:30 pregame. Listen wherever you are on the Seattle Sports app.
Fast Home Services is a 5-tool player, one call for it all. Water heaters, plumbing, heating, cooling, electrical. Dave Wyman here in the same Seattle company that's handled your hot water since 1986. Now handling everything that keeps the house running. One number, one team, home field advantage for your actual home. Call 1-800-THINK-FAST to book your free in-home estimate or visit fasthomeservices.com for a virtual quote in seconds. Water heaters, plumbing, HVAC, and electrical services.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. When it comes to my policy, Farmers gives it to me straight, so there's no surprises.
It's your coverage. You should never be confused.
You hear that? An insurance provider with a conscience.
We're acquired, but yes, we have that too.
Straightforward coverage you can literally understand. That's what you get when
you have Farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
Learn more at farmers.com. Underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or Affiliate. Products not available in every state.
Les Schwab Tires has been proudly serving communities for over 70 years, and we've collected thousands of inspiring stories. Like Kate, who was off on a long road trip with her best friend when the dash lit up like a game show. They find the nearest Les Schwab. Turns out they really needed an oil change. It was done in a flash. Road trip saved. At Les Schwab, we're proud to keep you rolling. Les Schwab Tires. Our greatest story is yours. Stories are composites inspired by real customer feedback.
America's favorite car show returns to Puyallup. Cruise on out for the good guys' 38th Griot's Garage Pacific Northwest National. 3 huge days with over 3,000 classics from across the country. Check out the indoor car show and special areas. Vendor Midway, automotive swap meet, live music, Saturday night twilight cruising, and more. All this weekend at the Washington State Fair Event Center. Details at good-guys.com.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Most of us are one good deal away from finally replacing that worn-out rug, fixing up the backyard, or getting the bedroom we actually want. Good news, that deal's almost here. Wayfair's Black Friday and July sale. Get up to 80% off area rugs and up to 60% off outdoor and bedroom furniture. Shop Wayfair's huge selection of styles and find the piece to fit your style, budget, and space. Plus, free shipping. Black Friday in July ends July 27th. Shop today at wayfair.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
The countdown is on.
Just 4 days
until Seahawks training camp on the home of the Super Bowl champion Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541. This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We got Charlie Furbush in studio with us as we do each and every week here with Wyman and Bob. Seattle Sports on 710. Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. We got a couple of health updates from our Mariners insider Shannon Drayer. JP tweaked his wrist on a swing during batting practice yesterday, which is why he's not in the lineup last night or tonight. Julio, apparently, we saw him legging it out, the infield hit that was big because it gave him their first run of the game. But he got hit with the ball as he was hitting the base, so we were trying to figure out what happened there. Apparently, Dan was saying he hit the base hard, so they're being careful. I don't know what that means. Did he jam his hip? Did he jam his knee? He was grabbing back what looked like a hamstring, but it wasn't so much from the impact of being hit with the ball because he got hit in the same area, like the hamstring area with the ball. But I don't know. Are you concerned that it could be something? It could be a hammy thing that lingers. We've seen it certainly with Canzone dealing with it. Randy's been dealing with it. You certainly don't need Julio to be dealing with it. How concerned are you by either of those, JP or Julio?
I think the wrist one is always slightly concerning with any hitter, just knowing that that's going to be a strength power provider, right? How you can swing the bat, and if you can't fully do it, then I'm a little concerned. But obviously, if it's just a little tweak, sometimes just a little bit of rest, it goes away immediately. So I know JP's a professional hitter. He's going to figure out what he can do to get himself back on the field as quick as possible. And with Julio, sometimes when you do run, when you hit the bat, there are instances where you are running full speed and you're trying to get there, and the last step just is the hardest, and it's like you hit the bag in a way that isn't as smooth as if you were just running way past the bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just, the way it works, you do it every day, and there are times where it may hit the hip, it may hit the knee, it may hit the ankle, it may just hit the right side. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just that
hit
was
it awkwardly.
that was just uncomfortable, and I think as a guy who is going to be arguably the most pivotal guy on your roster to go where you want to go, you got to do everything in your power to keep him healthy. So I think that's the name of the game in a lot of ways. Health is wealth. Try and keep these guys available as long as you can. I mean, look at a guy like Cole Young. I mean, guy's been out there every day. It's amazing. So when Dan has a player that he can rely on and just pencil him in every day and never have to think about it. I mean, I think when I played, Kyle Seager was the same way. Just every day, just always going to be there at third base. It really is a nice thing to have. So the more you can take care of your guys and keep them out there as often as possible, the better chance at success you're going to have.
How about the two young guys in the middle of the infield? That has just been phenomenal. Watching those two guys almost turned that double play the other day. But Bob and I were talking about how, first of all, they both did kind of the little spin move. That was awesome. And it didn't look like Colt Emerson got him at second, but he just dragged his foot. I mean, the instincts those two guys have. And it just, the funny thing to me also was afterwards, they both just kind of looked at each other like, oh, well, we'll get it next time. No problem. But those two guys, just incredibly impressive.
Yeah, continue to be just absolute studs on the diamond. And, I mean, I just can't imagine that, rewind 3 months ago, we're sitting here chatting it up, and either of us would have said, you know what, Cole Young's going to be in the 3-hole. You're like, what? Like, that's what's going to happen in a couple months? I think that's what's so wild. But, I think to how you make adjustments throughout the year and how the lineup changes, you got to ride the hot hand, right? I think that we've talked about this, even the matchups, right? We've talked about left on left, and can zone hit lefties, absolutely, right? You know what I mean? And I think there are outliers to then what the book says, what the traditional odds say or whatever. And I think that's where good teams recognize the hot hand, and they're going to roll with it. And they're going to go, well, this is our best chance right now, even if the typical numbers go against it. So you have to make adjustments on the fly. And I think the Mariners are doing a great job giving Cole Young a chance to be in the 3-hole. And just think about what he learns as a 3-hole hitter compared to an 8 or 9-hole hitter, right? You're gonna be in different situations. You're hitting in front of somebody. Now you got to do some damage, drive some runs in. So he's just continued to show up, and I think that across the diamond with Colt, he's continuing to learn as well. He's obviously been challenged, as you will at the big league level. We all get challenged, right? We all, that first year in the NFL, I'm sure it's like you learn a ton, right? You're gonna, you may not be great. You may have some good games.
Dominated. What are you talking about?
Oh, I was dominated.
There was no challenge there.
Lost.
But think about what you learn, right? Like after those moments, they're huge, right? And you can fall back on them and you can totally, right the ship, if you will. So I'm really excited to see the continued, I guess, development of Colt Emerson.
Yeah. Well, and Cole Young, for his part, are the only Mariner to play in every game this year.
Incredible.
101 games. He's been phenomenal. They had him in the 3-hole, as you said, and he goes back-to-back games with a home run. So they immediately drop him to the 6-hole last night. Meanwhile, we'll see what happens with JP and Julio. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Hopefully they're back after tonight, because they're neither in the lineup tonight. But it does put more pressure on Cole Young, even though he's a rookie, maybe not as much, but it does put more on Cal to, hey, man, let's keep that good vibe going. That was a great start last night. Hopefully that transitions into him looking like he did last year to some extent. Same with Naylor, same with Arozarena. It just puts a little more pressure on the established bats in that order, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Jeff Passan was talking about that as it relates to the trade deadline and all that. And he talked about the internal improvements, and Dave and I were talking about it, and I was saying these guys just need to improve marginally, and they could separate themselves from the rest of the pack in the AL West. That if Cal just gets a little bit better, and Naylor and Julio get a little bit better, look, they're in first place right now with those guys not being who they've been in the past. So Passan talking about that and saying, if they improve, that's arguably better than anything you're going to get at the trade deadline.
When I get asked what do the Mariners need at the deadline, the answer is for their own guys to be better. That's the reality. I think when you look at the team, would it be nice to have a right-handed hitting quarter outfielder to be what Rob Refsnyder was supposed to? Yeah, of course. That would be nice. There are just not a whole lot of those available.
So if all those guys just take a marginal step forward, how big is the gap between the Mariners and the Rangers?
I think you're looking at the best team in the AL West, right? Yeah. That's just what it is. It's what it's always been. That's the thing. It's always been that way. They just, have had a tough time of it this year. And I think, as I said, after, I don't know, May or June, it's like they just really haven't peaked at all, right? And that's okay. It's be fortunate that you're in the American League and in the AL West. They're obviously down, and you're able to kind of withstand just the ups and downs of the performance so far. But like you said, you're in first place. You're still in it. There's still a lot to like about this team, and everyone knows when this team gets rolling, they're going to be as dangerous as anyone, right? And you match that up with the experience they had last year, not just last year, over the last 3 years, right? Mm-hmm. You finally get a taste of all that, and you get back in, and you learn a lot, and you know that you can't take anything for granted. So it just tells me, you get the core guys back into shape, if you will, or whatever you want to call it, just back to normal. You don't need to be superstar 60 homer guy, right? That's obviously not going to happen this year, but I think continue to be competitive and have really good at-bats throughout the entire game and do the little things right. I think it'll all add up, and hopefully these guys all continue to figure it out. And you look at what they've done the last couple of games, this could be the start of a string of games that they can really do some damage and put themselves in a good position, especially once they go on this next road trip.
Well, and then Brendan Donovan, I don't know what you made of that. I mean, I don't really care that he went 0-4 in 7 at bats, was it, Bob?
I think so. Yeah.
So I mean,
as long as it wasn't 7 strikeouts.
Yeah,
I think it was like 4 or 5.
Yeah,
that's okay. That's okay though.
But I mean, look, we know he can hit at the big league level, so we don't really care about that. It's just a matter of whether or not he can be healthy, and I feel like with that alone, you're getting he's like basically a trade that you would get in. At the trade deadline.
I certainly hope that he has healed up and can, withstand what it's going to take to play, right? I think he's an absolute – we saw in the beginning of the season how effective he was, but I always just try to temper the expectations that, guys that get hurt multiple times in one season will just suddenly be back, and they're immediately back to their best selves ever. So I think even to Bob's point, just come back to yourself. Like, you don't need to do anything crazy. Like, don't feel like you have to be this, I'm the missing puzzle piece and I have to be the biggest piece of the puzzle that really cements it. Like, no, just come back and do your thing. You know what I mean? Like,
be you.
Yeah, be you. And I think that's where the messaging is. That's how they handle it internally. But, I always just say, like, as much as we want the guys in the lineup to produce and do the damage, I still think there is a move to be made. I think there's a way to continue to improve this roster and really cement yourself as the American League favorite.
Yeah. Charlie Furbush in studio with us for the hour, as he is each and every week. There are a couple of guys who are making their case as the underrated stars of the Mariners season so far. We're going to get into that coming up next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
Back on February 8th, the countdown started at 167 days.
3, 2, 1.
Right after the clock showed zeros.
The Seahawks win Super Bowl 60.
The champs are back on the field in just 4 days when Seahawks training camp begins.
We know that we're target number 1 now.
And nobody covers Seahawks training camp like the home of the Super Bowl champs. Seattle Sports.
In January, a Portland teenager at Goodwill stumbled upon a 1972 playoff warm-up jacket worn by Wilt Chamberlain, and he bought it for $3. I can only imagine how the person who used to own that is feeling right now. And now you may not be sitting on a warm-up jacket worn by Wilt the Stilt, but there's serious value to the gold, jewelry, watches, silver, and coins you have at home or in storage. Dave Wyman encouraging you to take a look at what some of these things are worth at Bellevue Rare Coins. They'll give you an honest, no-pressure assessment, allowing you to make a decision on whether to sell and how much to sell for. Bellevue Rare Coins is a trusted local business serving Washington since 1979, and they've expanded to 4 locations now in Bellevue, of course, Issaquah, Tacoma, and Linwood. Gold and silver reached all-time highs earlier this year, and there's no guarantee they'll stay this high. So cash in now, and at the very least, see how much some of your items are worth. Go to BellevueRareCoins.com.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today.
In addition to treating ED and Peyronie's disease, we now offer testosterone replacement therapy. With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You play for the win, not just on game day. Every day. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control, all on one platform. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move.
I'm David Ortiz. When I lost my mom, she was only 46, and I lost my dad to cancer. It was the worst pain I ever felt. It made me think, what will happen with the people I love when my time is up? That's why I have life insurance. Ethos makes it easy. It's all online, take about 10 minutes, and you can get up to $3 million in coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change presents wisdom from the road.
Summer means wide open spaces and a whole lot of extra miles. The last place you want your engine to give out is halfway to nowhere. Out here, low oil or a weak battery is just an ambush waiting to happen. That's why every oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change includes an 18-point maintenance check. These techs are trained to help spot issues early and keep you riding easy.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
Change wisely.
Just 4 days
until training camp for the Super Bowl champs. And nobody has it covered like the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
The Bowden Classic welcomes the world's greatest golf legends to the Pacific Northwest, August 14th through the 16th at the club at Snoqualmie Ridge. Watch Masters champions and Golf Hall of Famers compete for a $2.3 million purse at the only PGA Tour champion stop in the region. Bring the whole family and make sure to check out the Seahawks Village, packed with fun for all ages. Tickets start at just $20 and kids get in free. Visit BowdenClassic.com to get yours today.
How would you like to invest in the Seattle real estate market, one of the hottest and most stable regions in the country, and achieve a great rate of return on your investment without the effort of sourcing a deal, the expense and time of building permits, or all the hassles that come with being a landlord? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Invest in the stability and ease of Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund. Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
Cool cars, cool people, good tires. It's the Good Guys 38th Griots Garage Pacific Northwest Nationals, a giant car show featuring over 3,000 of the Northwest's finest hot rods, muscle cars, classic trucks, and more. Enjoy live music, a free family fun zone featuring the Auto World model car make and take, and earth-shaking Nitro Thunderfest and more. Happening all this weekend at the Washington State Fair Event Center in Puyallup. Details at good-guys.com. From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We got Charlie Furbush in studio with us until the top of the hour. We'll speak with El Hombre Michael Bradley coming up at 5 o'clock, so stay tuned for all of that. But Charlie, one of the other positives out of the game last night, obviously the win, the pitching performance, Cal coming to life. Guy that we've talked a lot about, just not propping him up as a superstar, and he's going to, change the fortunes of your season single-handedly, but he's just a nice piece and seems to make things happen. That's Victor Robles. He's just a guy, he's your second best defensive outfielder behind Julio, in my opinion. B, he's a guy that just seems to make things happen when he's on the base paths. Last night we saw him, and this is not a typical night, but he goes 4 for 4, steals a base, throws out a runner at home. He's a guy who can do a little bit of everything, yet he doesn't get a ton of playing time. He's getting it now, obviously, with Julio leaving the game and some of the injuries, but he's just a guy, I think, who's earned more time than maybe he gets. What do you think when you see him?
Well, game of the season for him. You know, I think that's just the bright spot is, feeling that when you acquired Victor Robles, he injected this sort of thing that the Mariners hadn't had it seemingly in a while, just in terms of how he played. And it was awesome to see him run balls down in the outfield and just do things all over the bases and get on base left and right. So having this game last night just tells you that, wow, there's another player on the Mariners roster that could be another X factor, another guy that gets more at bats and shows how good he can be. So, it's just a good sign moving forward that, as the Mariners do continue needing right-handed hitting, and in these situations, if Victor Robles can be that guy, I'm really excited to see if he gets some more opportunities and see what he can do with them, because he's fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's hard not to like what he does.
Plus, he's got speed, and they don't have a lot of speed on the team. He's one of the few guys that does.
You got Luke Raley. Did you see him hauling ass last night?
He's got speed for a big guy kind of speed. Like, he's not slow, but he's not a burner like some other teams have, certainly. Yeah, I appreciate his speed for his size.
No, yeah, he is. Maybe work on his form a little bit.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. A lot of wasted motion, but yeah, he kicks ass. I love that about him. But was there a guy that you were teammates with that reminds you of Victor Robles? Just kind of a past. We always talk about Caballero. Cabby was always kind of a guy that kind of got under people's skin a little bit, and Victor Robles isn't quite like that. He's not being verbal or anything, but
he's not confrontational.
Yeah.
Cabby's a little confrontational.
Yeah, which I liked about it, because it just gives them, something else. You want to be the guy that other players hate, right? But, yeah, I mean, did you play with a guy like that? Anybody remind you of Robles? Just energy, pure energy from that guy.
I mean, there's a lot of different guys that kind of come to mind. I mean, and he brings it in a different way, a guy I will say that weirdly – it reminds me, the first one that comes to mind is when we signed him, and he went on to Toronto to do even more hilarious things. But Munenori Kawasaki,
him singing the national anthem was gold.
He was such a incredible teammate, and it was so fun to engage with him every day. So, and I know a lot of people have some great interactions and great stories. So he's a perfect guy that comes to mind when it comes to like that energy guy that's just always there.
We used to have that drop. I don't know where it is at. It was where he just said, "I'm an energy boy." He was yelling it, and then the video of him was they all stand there with their hands behind their back or over their heart, national anthem, and he looks like he's shouting as loud as he can. Veins in the neck are bulging, and he's just singing along with the national anthem. That guy was. He was a character, man.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
But Victor, after the game last night, talked with our Mariners insider, Shannon Dreyer, and he explains the one thing he tries to bring to the team every game.
I mean, energy for me is everything. When we bring the energy, doesn't matter if we lose or if we win, we got a better chance to win. So that's for me the key, to bring the energy every day.
He does.
I don't remember him ever speaking in English. I thought he always had a translator.
Yeah, his English is pretty good.
It is good.
The Munenori Kawasaki way. He tried to learn English quick, too. So it's something that you can kind of quickly learn as much as you can and start engaging with people. So that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what I'm hearing is, hey, I'm going to bring the energy. I want everyone to leave it on the field. Leave it all on the field. That's what we're here. Once we step on the lines, everything is left on the field.
Yeah, I just like his game, and I like. It doesn't mean he does everything right. He's gonna make some mistakes like anybody else, but he's a great piece to have on the team, and I'd just love to see a little more opportunity. I think he gets lost in the platoon, and obviously it's tough because he's an outfielder, and you've got Raley, who's He's done a nice job as a pinch hitter the past couple of games, a home run and then a base hit last night. And Canzone is tied for the team lead in home runs, and you see the respect he's gaining. They walk him to get to Cal, so
wild.
Yeah, so I get it. Playing time's kind of hard to find, but maybe he could be part of that answer for a right-handed bat.
Yeah, and I think that's where the team's at. They have some puzzle pieces that I think fit the bill, and Robles has certainly checked that box last night. So if there are continued at-bats where he can kind of gain momentum and be that player, it's going to be hard to keep him out of the lineup.
Yeah, it's funny when you have a teammate like that. The other thing is like when you see him, and same thing with Naylor. I mean, you see Naylor really trying to do every last little thing to give him, his team an advantage. It's kind of, you can't really make the case for yourself to loaf ever,
right?
Or that's a guy. We talk about this all the time with Witherspoon on with the Seahawks. That you see that guy on film, he's busting his ass every single play. You got a guy out there like that. That's gonna put peer pressure at the very least on you to go out and play as hard as you possibly can.
Yeah,
love it.
I just hope at the end of the year that Naylor's just talking smack to the whole team, being like, you guys know I'm the leader in stolen bases, and I'm the slowest guy in the league. Figure it out, guys. Come on.
There you go. It's impressive that he's able to do it again because everybody's on high alert with him after last year. Like, all right, he's never had a year like that. Let's keep an eye on him, and he's still doing it.
It is so fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like that's like the one factor. I thought it was just going to be like a fluke. You know what I mean? You were on a heater and stealing bases, but he has somehow figured out how to go at the right time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I think
it's awesome.
I have to look again, but I think his career high before last year was like 10 stolen bases in the season.
Wild.
Yeah, he's got 30.
It's like the Little League kid when you're just like, oh, no, he's going, no. Oh, safe, yay.
Yeah, great move. No. Great move. Charlie, as always, we appreciate it, man.
Hey, whoa. He owes us 10 minutes.
Please?
You want to hang out and talk to El Hombre?
If you'll let me.
You're welcome to.
I mean, I owe you at least.
Ask questions at your own risk.
I'm just kidding.
You're welcome to hang out. We'll see if Charlie's still here when we talk to El Hombre, Michael Bradley. He joins us next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
Swung on and destroyed! Was this the big night we've been waiting for from the Big Dumper?
Grand Slam, Cal Raleigh!
Trying to build off of that and trying to get it rolling.
Back into sole possession of first place in the AL West. Tonight, the M's look to make it 4 straight wins in Game 2 against the Reds at T-Mobile. 6:40 first pitch, 5:30 pregame. Listen wherever you are on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman for Swedish Cyberknife. In my 6 years of working with Swedish Cyberknife, I've had the pleasure of speaking with several patients who offer glowing endorsements of their prostate cancer treatment. Tim Hunter, he is a lifelong local radio host. He underwent the entire Swedish Cyberknife treatment for prostate cancer in just 1 week, Monday through Friday, with each session lasting less than an hour. And he chose Swedish Cyberknife because it was only 5 days of treatment versus several months with other treatments. And on top of that, Swedish Cyberknife had by far the least interruption to his daily life. No surgery, no catheter, and the recovery was incredibly quick. And Tim heard about the Cyberknife treatment from our radio commercials, just like you're hearing right now. So if you, a friend, or a family member is diagnosed with prostate cancer, schedule a consultation with Swedish Cyberknife at swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Cyberknife is a registered trademark of Accuray Incorporated and is used with permission.
In 2026, Bay Alarm celebrates 80 years of security. For the Puget Sound, that means local service including burglar and fire alarm systems, 24/7 in-house monitoring, and custom security designed to work with business operations. Bay Alarm has real people rooted in your community looking out for your business. After 8 decades and 3 generations of family ownership, our promise is still the same. We got you. Learn more at bayalarm.com.
Your neighbors at 3 Tree Roofing love telling you no. No high-pressure sales pitches. No Band-Aid fixes that will fail come wintertime. No outrageous pricing from some corporate-owned roofing company with headquarters thousands of miles from here. 3 Tree Roofing is local, family-owned, and their team will build you a worry-free plan for your roof replacement, completely free. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free estimate and call today to say yes to an additional $500 discount. That's 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
These days, everyday savings add up. Get more for your restaurant, food truck, or big event at Chef Store with warehouse savings on the food and supplies you use most. No membership required. Plus, we're open to the public. Visit Chef Store today.
Dealing with divorce and custody issues can be terrifying and very lonely, but you don't need to face it alone. Goldberg Jones has been helping Northwest husbands and fathers for more than 30 years. Thousands of men have put their trust in us. You can too. Learn more at goldbergjones.com.
Mike's Western Suppliers and CL Western Apparel reminds parents the fatal crash rate for teens peaks at age 19, and we lose nearly 8 kids every day. Make a family agreement to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs, text behind the wheel, or ride with anyone who is. Always designate a sober driver, call a parent or rideshare, and let's bring our sons and daughters home safely. Best wishes to all our kids from the entire team at Mike's Western Suppliers and CL Western Apparel. Family owned and proudly serving our community for over 30 years.
On BritBox, there is a place where stories twist like cobblestone roads, grand manners hide secrets, and stakes are higher than seaside cliffs. Find places worth getting lost in on BritBox. Watch new series like The Other Bennett Sister from the world of Jane Austen and A Woman of Substance starring Golden Globe winner Brenda Blethyn. If you want to get away, you're in the right place. Stream the best of British TV on BritBox. Free trial at BritBox.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summer's finally here, and we're kicking it off with a whole lot of free. Free brake pads with Duralast rotors. Free oil filter with 5 quarts of oil. Free Armor All wipes with Armor All glass cleaner, and more. More free, so you can have more summer. Celebrate free at AutoZone. Now through July 27th. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners took game 1 of the series against the Cincinnati Reds last night. Look to do it again tonight and win the series when they send former Red Luis Castillo to the hill. Going for the Mariners, faces off against a tough one in Chase Burns, who comes in with an 11-1 record, a 2.54 ERA. So interesting night for the Mariners. You can catch it all starting at 5:30 with the pregame show. 6:40 first pitch right here, Seattle Sports on 710. Taking a look at your scoreboard. Couple of games being impacted by the weather. Yankees hosting the Pirates. That has been postponed. They'll make it up tomorrow, as well as the Red Sox looking to stretch that to a 15-game winning streak. They were hosting the Orioles. That has also been postponed until tomorrow. Games going on right now. Things just getting underway between the Phillies and Dodgers in Philadelphia. Bottom of the 5th in Cleveland, the Twins and Guardians locked up at 2 apiece. Rays out to a 3-0 lead over the Blue Jays in Toronto in the top of the 3rd. Headed to the bottom of the 3rd in Atlanta. Braves up 2-1 on the Padres. Bottom of the 1st in Milwaukee. No score between the Mets and the Brewers. And bottom of the 2nd in Kansas City. Royals and Giants scoreless.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Fast Home Services.
Yeah, you know what you can get me, Pee-wee? What? El Hombre.
That was a catastrophe.
I know.
That's a new low.
Yeah.
Roz is better.
El Hombre.
The natural meets Rudy meets... I don't even know how to describe it.
El Hombre.
It is that time, everybody. Every Tuesday at 5 o'clock, he is with us right here talking about the world of sports and how to cure all of the problems. He's got the answers. He's the one, the only El Hombre. Michael Bradley is here. How are you, man?
What's happening, everybody?
We got a special guest in studio. Dave and I, we needed to bring in reserves. We got Charlie Furbush, former big league pitcher, and he said, "Who's this guy calling me a sucker every week, saying so long?" I got questions for this guy. So Charlie's here.
Fire away, Charlie.
Well, we'll get right into it then. Well, I know you answer all these Jokers questions every week, but who's under more pressure right now? The Phillies to win it all, or the Mariners to win it all?
Oh, it's got to be the Phillies. The Phillies have got a window that's closing. They've got a payroll that's astronomical. They've got a general manager in Dave Dombrowski who's made some horrifically bad decisions. Right now, they're paying Taijuan Walker $18 million and Castellanos 19 and change not to play for them. Okay, so there's $37 million of dead weight sitting on the payroll that's got them above the luxury tax. So if the Phillies don't don't win a series or two, Dombrowski's got to go because he's proven himself to be a borderline idiot.
It is amazing to look at that division because, Michael, for the longest time we were talking and the Phillies felt like they were on all these winning streaks here and there, and then you'd look and see the gap between them and the Braves was 9 games, 8 games, 10 games. Like they couldn't gain any ground, and now you look, it's a 3-game spread between the two teams right there. So is the expectation in Philadelphia like here, obviously the Mariners in a different spot, but they're in first place, is that you be active at that trade deadline. We have needs, fill those needs. What with a team like the Phillies that are, 11 games over 500 now, are they looking at the roster going, wow, we got a problem here, or do you feel like you pretty much have the team to compete with?
Oh, first of all, Charlie, one other thing. People in Seattle are nicer than the people in Philadelphia. So the expectation's there. Like we want, it's not like they're going to be coming with pitchforks and torches to the executive offices if things don't work out. We're going to do that here. As for the roster, the Phillies bullpen stinks. They don't have a right-handed hitter who's doing anything. And their 4th and 5th starters are something like 15 and 30 when they pitch. So, yeah, they need a lot. And, oh, by the way, their farm system is ranked 29th out of 30th. So I don't know what they're going to do in terms of trying to trade some people to get some folks. But I was down there last night. Trey Turner, who's making like $2 billion a year, they charged him with 2 errors. He made 4 errors. It was unbelievable. His cousin must have been the official scorer. But he had 2 home runs. So it was an insane game. They win 10-7. The starter goes 5 1/3 innings because they had to pitch like 30 extra pitches every time Turner booted a ball. So this team is maddening, but they somehow are close enough to the Braves. I don't see them doing a whole lot, though. They're just not good enough, and they're older, and it's fun, but no, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's funny. I noticed this as a football player in the NFL that the fans on the East Coast, like particularly in Philadelphia, are anything but passive aggressive, right? Like they're aggressive.
We're active aggressive. Active aggressive.
Yeah, exactly. And I always appreciated that because they tell you exactly what what
where they
feel.
stand.
Yeah, exactly. There's no nuance there, right?
And that's the way it should be. What do you say? Oh, nice try. We always used to make fun of the St. Louis Cardinals fans because, like, a guy would ground into a game-ending double play. And they'd say, oh, you tried hard. Good job. Nicely done. In Philadelphia, they're out there burning his jersey after the game.
Say, I just hope you had fun out there. That's all. Yeah, it's
right. No.
Hey, where are you with the Dodgers? Are an interesting team because they've got an 11.5 game lead in the division, yet they've dropped 6 of 10. They've lost 2 in a row. They've dropped 6 of 10, and they're only up by 11.5 games. So, they feel like they're going to coast to another division win, certainly. But do they look like the team that's, you're looking at them going, well, who beats these guys?
They're scary as hell. Last night, Christopher Sanchez, who pitched for the Phillies last night, has Ohtani's number. He did it in the playoffs last year, and he got him out, 3 times last night. And it was just amazing. Here's this guy with an OPS of like 1,100, and Sanchez is making him look like he's a rookie. The fun thing was the Dodgers fans at the ballpark last night, people from the East go to the West and move and live, and then they go and support their teams. These are just front runners. So I had a guy about 5 rows in front of me, Dodgers jersey, Dodgers hat, Shohei Ohtani sign. He's like, "Let's go Dodgers." And I yelled, "What part of Southern California are you from?" And he just shut up for the rest of the game. It was great. So I can't stand their fan. And I'm going down Friday night again, and it's going to be the Yankees, and that's horrible.
Oh.
They just ooze down from New York and take up space, and it's just a bad scene all around because there's a lot of them. But the Dodgers are dangerous as hell still, and they're going to get Tariq Skubal if the Tigers put him up for trade at the deadline. The Dodgers will get him because their farm system, they've got like 30 guys who could be playing in the major leagues right now.
Hey, you want to ask a question, Charlie? Go ahead.
Sure.
I saw you jumping in there.
Why? I was curious about his opinion on Bryce Harper. He's been such a face of baseball, and even for the Phillies for the past so many years, and he's won a couple MVPs. Have we seen the last of the peak of Bryce Harper?
Without a doubt. Dave Dombrowski said it last year that he's not an elite player anymore, and he isn't. He'll hit 30 to 35 home runs, and he's a very, very good player. He's an average defensive player. Sometimes he goes and, takes balls away from the second baseman. He doesn't understand what he should be doing. He should be playing right field. Alec Boehm should be playing first base. They should have Harper out in the outfield so the outfield has some pop. But he's just not as good as he was, and it's funny. People and the fans like Schwarber more than him. When Schwarber comes up, he gets a bigger ovation than Harper does. And Harper really last night was unbelievable. He hit a homer, but he swings for the fences like nobody I've ever seen. And I don't know if you guys saw Frank Thomas on, I think it was MLB Network, talking about hitting and people trying to hit the ball high. He's like, just hit the ball in half. If you hit it hard, you'll get backspin. It'll go in the air. Stop trying to jack it out. Harper's trying to hit a home run every pitch.
That's why he's 0 for 1, 1K against me.
Yeah, there you go.
You own him.
He struck him out.
You own him.
You looked at him and said, easy work.
Yeah. Just give him that high cheese. That's right.
Bum.
Hey, what's your feeling on Hard Knocks? We're talking about this because the Seahawks are going to get full attention this year, and I got pictures of people putting in cameras everywhere. Is that a show that you've liked? I think it's good. I've always enjoyed it, but now that the Seahawks are going to be invaded by the people from Hard Knocks, I don't know if it's such a good idea. But what's your opinion of that show?
It's sanitized now. It used to have a little bit more stuff that you could see and really learn about what goes on, and now they're really trying to make it into a TV program. I think it was a great concept. I used to love to follow the kid who was trying to make the team. That stuff is great, and I really enjoyed that. And I loved when the coach would call the guys in and either cut them or keep them. That really was heart-wrenching but also uplifting. It's still something. If you're a fan of the team, you're going to love it. And I'll watch an episode or two every now and then when I don't have anything else going on. But I think that it's sort of run its course a little bit. But in theory, it's a great idea.
Yeah, I love it. I still buy into all those stories. I get sucked into the kid who's at the end of the roster, and he's just fighting for his career, and he's on the phone with his parents, and he's either had a great game or great practice or a bad game or bad practice, and it's it's going well, or oh man, I'm not going to make it, or I don't know. I'm a sucker for those stories. I love it, and I think it could be a good one. I think a storyline for the Seahawks would be an obvious one for them. Would be sort of the redemption of Sam Darnold, a guy who's a top 5 pick, who's looked at as a bust, who becomes a perennial backup playing for the Panthers and playing for the 49ers, and then gets that shot with the Vikings, and then his first year with the Seahawks, he's now a Super Bowl champion. I mean, that's a Hollywood storyline there.
It is, but I think that they've played that a little bit. I'd rather see the undrafted free agent who's trying to become the 5th wide receiver, and he gets into the game like in the 4th quarter, the exhibition game, and they run a play for him, and he either makes a catch or he doesn't.
Right.
That stuff is very cool. So no, again, I think it's great. It's a real smart thing, and Lev Shriver's narration is tremendous. Yeah. That really adds to it in my mind because he really sets the scene so well.
And he sounds nothing like he did in Ray Donovan.
No, not at all. Exactly.
I think when they did the Jets, Aaron Rodgers was referring to him as the voice of God.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, because he came in like in a helicopter.
The original voice of God was John Facenda with NFL Films. People used to send fan mail to him at NFL Films addressed to the voice of God.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Hey, what was your we were talking about this briefly earlier, but Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, is talking about the SEC breaking away from the NCAA. And Dave and I were talking about it going, what exactly is it that the NCAA does? Like, what is their role anymore? Because it's not. It feels like just college sports are the Wild West, and we've talked about all the aspects of NIL and the transfer portal, and you can't keep track of players anymore and all that good stuff. But what do you make of that? Do you see that happening, and the NCAA is rendered even more irrelevant than they appear to be now, or what is their role as you see it?
Well, right now, the reason that the SEC and the Big Ten are interested in, the future and can they have one without the NCAA? It's multiple reasons. One is they're sick and tired of having Williams College having the same voting power as Ohio State. All right, they're done with this tiered system where everybody gets a say. They want to have people making decisions for them who are like them. So that's the first thing. The second is this bill that's in the Senate right now that they're trying to put through that would limit expansion until the next grant of rights is up in like 2035, which would effectively prevent the Big Ten and the SEC from expanding their ranks before the middle of next decade. What they're trying to do is position themselves. There's a couple of big prizes out there. And what makes sense is Clemson, Florida State, Miami end up in the SEC. And then who does the Big Ten get for their final two? The big prize is North Carolina. Both conferences want them. They're a very good academic institution. They've got a great basketball tradition, and they could be a good football program if they ever got their act together. So right now the SEC is saying, look, we are powerful. We own the TV ratings, right? Nobody gets better football ratings than we do. And if we went on our own, we'd still get a lot of attention and a lot of money. And that's scaring the rest of the schools because the Big Ten could say, yeah, we'll go with you. But the ACC is not going to get all their teams. And the Big 12 is not going to get all the Baylor's not going to end up with the big boys. So that's what everybody's afraid of. And the SEC is in the midst of negotiation to try to get this bill through the way they like it. And in an investigation, in any negotiation, what do? You try to scare the hell out of the other side. And that's what the SEC is doing right now.
So you don't see it ever coming to fruition?
No. I see it possibly coming to fruition in terms of a super league for football. And there's going to be one. There's going to be whatever number it is, 40, 50, 60 teams. And they're going to say, you're going to have a minimum amount that you have to spend. And if you don't spend it, you can get tossed. And we're going to have our own TV rates, money, and we're going to have our own, playoff system. And we're not going to have to worry about giving James Madison and, what's the matter, a spot in the college football playoff. They don't belong.
What's the matter, you? You got to be careful of that team. They'll get you. You don't sleep on that team.
Who went to what's the matter, you?
I'm trying to remember where I heard that.
Yeah.
Was that Dangerfield?
No, Bullwinkle the Moose went to what's the matter, you?
Oh, Bullwinkle the Moose. I wouldn't have gotten that one.
Come on.
I wouldn't have gotten that.
Bullwinkle and Rocky.
And one time, Natasha said to Boris, did you go to college? Yes, Natasha. Where did you go? Penn State? No, State's Penn.
Hey, just so one more on that is the NCAA sits right now. What is their role? They feel about as toothless and powerless and irrelevant as at any point in their existence. But what is the role of the NCAA as we sit now?
Well, they host the championships in most sports. The only thing they don't have anything to do with is big-time football. And unfortunately for the NCAA, that's what is the biggest, thing in all of sports, in college sports. The college football playoff and big-time college football. But, I mean, they run the NCAA basketball tournament.
Right.
They run all of the quote-unquote Olympic sports. They run Division 1A, 1AA, Division 2, Division 3. So they still have a role. It's just that the schools that really run the show now are saying to them, you don't have any power over us because as soon as you do something that we really don't like, we're gone.
Is the most ridiculous conference the ACC? I mean, because you've got Boston College, Clemson, Duke, Florida State, Louisville, et cetera, and then you've got Cal, Stanford, and SMU. That just seems odd.
It's no less ridiculous. It's no more ridiculous than the Big Ten that has Rutgers and Maryland and Oregon and Washington.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty crazy too. You're a Rutgers field hockey player. Who do you play on Saturday? Oh, we play at Oregon. We're leaving on Monday. We're going to miss all our classes.
They're bussing
We're going to lose 4-1. And then we get back and we got jet lag, and then we got to go to class at 8:00 Monday morning. It's insane.
They don't go to class, right?
Oh, they do. I teach a lot of athletes, and these kids go to Creighton, or as the young people say now, Creighton. There's no T in there. and they'll please excuse the field hockey team from classes Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday because they're going to Creighton to get their butts kicked.
Creighton. I like that they got a game on Saturday, so they're leaving on Monday to get there.
Oh yeah, it's insane.
Oh, hey, so what as a soccer fan, what's your final review of the World Cup? I was seeing that the ratings were off the charts for the final, but just in totality, was it better than expected? Not as good? What was your review as a soccer fan?
Raging success. All right, look at it from every single metric. Tremendous TV ratings for the final. Tremendous attendance for the games. No big, giant, horrible incidents, right? No terrorist attacks, no riots, no this, that, nothing. So everybody was well behaved. And the people who came over to the United States from other countries are like, this is the best thing in the world. They give you all this free bread. They give you chips and salsa. You don't have to pay for it. People were just delighted. And then the Scots came and drank Boston dry. Think about that. You know how many drunk Irishmen there are in Boston, and they couldn't keep up with the Scots? This was a tremendous success.
Drank Boston dry.
Well, that's right. You said that they charge you for bread, right?
In Italy, they did at that one restaurant. Yeah. Yeah. And they didn't even ask if we wanted it. They just brought it to the table, and then we found out what they charged us for it.
That'd be €5. And it's like, here, if you put it down, you eat all the bread. You go, we have more bread? Sure, come on. Who cares what quality is? Just keep eating the bread.
I just like that people coming over here were just wowed by the chips and salsa.
Yeah, and then one guy from Japan was the best. He's like, I sat down, and they gave me chips and salsa. I hadn't even proven that I could pay. I could walk in and just get the food. I don't understand this. It's all about Hunter over in Japan, and this guy's like, they just gave me free stuff. This is the best.
Did you have a rooting interest in the final? Did you care Spain versus Argentina or no?
I like Argentina dating back to when Maradona played for them in the 80s. I loved him. And I like Messi. But, I mean, I'll give you 10 seconds of soccer. Spain was by far the better team. They gave up 1 goal out of 8 games or something in the whole tournament. They made Argentina look like they had absolutely no talent. What did they get? 1 shot on goal? I don't think they got a shot on goal. So, I mean, it was a tremendous performance by Spain. The best team won. And as I said, the whole thing was just a raging success.
Yeah, I heard a conversation about Messi, and I think he's 5'8", maybe.
Yeah, he's not a big guy.
Yeah, and a lot of people call him the best athlete in the world. And it's not like he can jump out of the gym or run a 4.240, but he's wildly athletic. Yeah, it's pretty pretty
about
interesting.
What he did at the end of the game with that corner kick, right? There's 300 people in front of the goal, and he puts it right on a guy's foot. Where if he doesn't lean back, if he gets over the ball and kicks it, it's a goal, right? He's right in front. Kick it the right way. He leaned back, kicked it 75 feet in the air. But Messi on a corner kick had that level of precision.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
He is El Hombre, Michael Bradley, with us each and every Tuesday at 5 o'clock. You find him here. You can find him on Twitter at Daily Hombre. At Daily Hombre on Twitter is where you find him there, and interact at your own risk, as we say. Michael, as always, we appreciate you, my friend. Have a great week. We'll talk again next week.
So long, suckers.
There he goes, everybody. I think he was talking to you, Charlie.
That's you, Charlie.
That's okay. The idiot GM over in Philly actually drafted me, so I have a soft spot for Dave Dombrowski.
You should have told him.
I didn't know how to interject. You know what I mean? Next week, right?
He's a borderline idiot.
Yeah, but that's why I'm here. You know, he signed me and then traded me over here.
I love it. Hey, the Mariners' 50 season celebration weekend begins on August 7th. We want to send you and a friend to be part of the celebration. You're going to get a chance to watch batting practice before the game gates open, then stick around for the game and the Alumni Home Run Derby. To enter, all you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app. If you don't have it, just text the word app to 866-979-3776. We'll send you a link to download it. It's totally free. You can enter every day to increase your chances to win. The contest runs through Monday, July 27th. How about that? Charlie, we appreciate you hanging out, man.
Overtime. I needed it.
Yeah, we're glad you were late.
Yeah.
We got a little extra out of you.
A little extra Charlie Furbush. We also had Jim Bowden and El Hombre. If you guys missed any part of the show, you can find it on the podcast page at seattlesports.com. You got the Mariners and Reds coming up, Game 2. Pre-game show coming your way. We'll talk to you tomorrow with Wyman and Bob.
Swung on and destroyed! Was this the big night we've been waiting for from the Big Dumper?
Grand Slam, Cal Raleigh!
Trying to build off of that and trying to get it wrong.
Back into sole possession of first place in the AL West. Tonight, the M's look to make it 4 straight wins in Game 2 against the Reds at T-Mobile. 6:40 first pitch, 5:30 pregame. Listen wherever you are on the Seattle Sports app.
Motorcycle accident cases require a thorough investigation by a team of experienced legal professionals if they have any chance of being successful. Insurance companies, juries, and even the police tend to assume the worst about motorcycle riders. Get help from an experienced team of attorneys that have successfully resolved hundreds of motorcycle accident cases over the past 30 years. Call Davis Law Group for a free legal consultation or get my free book on motorcycle accidents at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change presents Wisdom from the Road.
Summer means wide open spaces and a whole lot of extra miles. The last place you want your engine to give out is halfway to nowhere. Out here, low oil or a weak battery is just an ambush waiting to happen. That's why every oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change includes an 18-point maintenance check. These techs are trained to help spot issues early and keep your riding easy.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
Change wisely.
At Farmers, our honesty is contagious.
Wait, am I going to catch honesty?
Well, when you're with Farmers, it's kind of inevitable.
Well, how long does it take to... I lied to you when you asked if I knew what a deductible was. I don't know my dad's birthday, and I thought umbrella policies were for rainstorms. Actual rainstorms. I have it, don't I?
You don't just have honesty.
You have Farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
Learn more at farmers.com. Underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or Affiliate. Products not available in every state.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You push yourself in everything you do, scanning headlines for insights, keeping an eye on the market. Robinhood puts you in control of your money, all on one platform. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move.
Drip Drop is doctor-developed, proven fast hydration that helps your body and mind work better. Trusted by firefighters, medical professionals, and over 90% of top college and pro sports teams. Drip Drop is engineered to hydrate faster and more effectively than water alone, with 3 times the electrolytes of leading sports drinks. Stock up now at dripdrop.com and use promo code RADIO20 for 20% off your first order. That's dripdrop.com, promo code RADIO20.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
Mariners and Reds tonight at T-Mobile. First pitch at 6:40, 5:30 pregame. Get every pitch of every game for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Progressive knows you could have easily taken the freeway, but you took the scenic route to see a waterfall and an oddly busy boiled peanut stand. Discovering the unexpected is exactly why you bought an RV, so protect it with a bundle from Progressive. Because although you may be 3 hours behind schedule, you're 6 jars of jam richer and possibly enrolled in a butter-churning workshop. Switch to Progressive and protect your RV, boat, or motorcycle by bundling with your home and auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Your coffee would never get cold. Your flight would always be on time. And your mattress would always respond to you and your unique sleep needs. Sleep Number mattresses are designed to respond to your body and shift with your changing life, helping you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com.